All right, so welcome to our first stream of Qadida. This is our playtest of the setting as a whole, and this is a sort of spy versus spy two-team venture that we have to promote our draft of the new upcoming gazetteer Qadida from Stillfleet Studios. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Stillfleet, Stillfleet is a tabletop role-playing game set in the far, far future, hundreds of millions of years from now, and
It's just
follows
100 million.
one. Okay, just 100 million. It's a
It's
long,
Only
several
just
hundred
that,
million.
just a little 100 million.
way in the future. Sorry, I got you are correct, Ben, that it's only 100 million years in the future, not hundreds and
Only,
hundreds.
yeah.
It's very far from right now. And the idea and concept of Stillfleet, broadly speaking, is that the player characters work for the worshipful company of Stillfleeters, a large corporation. Think something kind of analogous to the Dutch East India Company, something like that. And normally their job is to sort of explore the opening of sort of explore various planets, hulks, that type of thing, gather archaea tech, sell it for profit, all that kind of stuff. This particular setting goes slightly into the future of that far future. So it's 100 million years in the future, and then just a little bit further forward in time, to the point where the worshipful company of Stillfleeters has expanded out and has that challenge of transitioning somewhat from simply being a corporation to that sort of empire building. And Ben is correct, is that modern humans have existed for 500,000 years. Can we keep it? We can keep it up for 200 times from that now. As I understand the lore of Stillfleet, there are still humanoids, but they're not. They're sort of human, but not quite human, just because a lot of stuff has been changed, erased, forgotten, genetic manipulation. So there's basically post-humans, human-like figures, and as Wythe Marshall, the author of Stillfleet, has said in the chat, restarts may or may not have been involved. Records are a little spotty. And so to get started with our game today and set the scene a little bit, what we have here is we have a small domed city on a asteroid / dwarf planet. The exact definition of the astronomical body has been disputed. And so, but we know that it's made of osmium, for those of you who are very into geology, and Aaron, the GM for the other team, will discuss, we'll have the geology lecture at length for those of you interested in the geology of the planet. So what we have on the domed city of Qadida on this planet is that the domed city is divided between two halves. There is one half called Worshipful Qadida. Worshipful Qadida is basically a colony of the Worshipful Company of Stillfleeters. There is a colonial administration. It is sort of managed by the Worshipful Company. By the way, for those of you who are not into the Worshipful Company, or not quite into the Stillfleet fiction, Worshipful Company is a large colonialist, capitalist, expansionist sort of thing, sort of entity. So it is what you might think in broad political terms, something between center-right and right-wing. And on the other side, we have Free Qadida. Free Qadida is the other half of the city. Free Qadida is a sort of experiment in, broadly speaking, anarchism, social democracy. It is an emerging sort of left-wing state supported by one of the rivals of the Worshipful Company of Stillfleeters, the Honorable Company. The Honorable Company is a broadly speaking left-wing counterforce to the Worshipful Company. And Qadida is a place where the Worshipful Company's interests and the Honorable Company's interests sort of collide. And they are using Qadida to some extent as a proxy, as a place to intervene. And we use this as a metagame way to explore some ideas that are inside Stillfleet of how colonialism operates, how we can have different alternatives to different types of government, and how we can kind of come to better futures together, broadly speaking. So that's kind of our big overview. We have in this game here some more experienced Stillfleet players than I have. If there's something in the broad lore that I've missed here,
we will nitpick whenever the lore is wrong.
Thank you. That is exactly what we expect from anything else. We'll also take.
I think the one thing I was going to chime in is HCO is explicitly Maoists. Like
Okay.
they are a Maoist insurgency that like previously was like people were like, are they real? Are they an op that the Worshipful Company is doing? And then like this version assumes that they are real and they are an actual Maoist insurgent group that works with the Sapients on various provinces, i.e. the full planets that the company partially or mostly controls, to liberate the people from those provinces, from the control of the co.
Yes, thank you for that correction. One of the things that is good about Stillfleet in many ways is that there is some flexibility there, that if you were to pick up one of the earlier mini ventures done by Aaron, who is leading the other team on the stream, the Rain Thieves venture, he allows for a sort of dice roll to have perhaps a slightly different interpretations of an Honorable Co agent, like an individual is part of the Honorable Co. But yes, the idea of the Honorable Co is generally speaking more into the idea of peasant insurgency. Is that kind of accurate, Ben?
That's what I understand from what Wythe has said about it. Wythe can chime in the chat.
You could read more in the book.
If you purchase the Stillfleet Handbook.
Yeah, there you go. I forgot the title. Oh. That Kickstarter is over though, but I'm sure something.
Still available.
You can still buy the PDF.
Oh, it's stillfleet.com.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. You can still buy the PDF.
.gov.
Oh, one day.
It's a good PDF. I have it open right now.
I do as well. You can also get, if you're interested in watching the stream either now or in the future, if you're interested in the game, there is also a quick start guide that is, I believe, still pay what you want. So that way, if you're trying to get into the game and maybe the core rule book is a bit overwhelming, you have that option. And also, we recommend the Fun Cities Arc Float City for those of you who are interested in the early version of the game, but it's a little bit different what we have here. And Wythe has helpfully put into the regular chat the new Kickstarter coming up, which is, of course, the setting we're in today. And that will be coming soon. We're hoping the Kickstarter will begin in June. So we're trying to play test, build hype, and all of that type of thing. And we appreciate all of you who are coming out today. And even if you're not here with us today, sort of contemporaneous with us, and you're watching in the future, we appreciate you all the same. So thank you for coming. Appreciate you.
I know you weren't there when I was down, and so you're not going to be there when I'm high. That's all I want. We both tried different bits. My bad.
No, they're both good bets. You go.
No.
Ben needs lottery numbers. Jeff, what did you need from the future?
No. I was saying if you weren't there when I was down, you can't be there when I'm out. But then I realized it was high, and then I messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't accept me at my VOD, you don't deserve me at my stream.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Okay. And so we'll also just do maybe upfront for those of you who are watching now or in the future, just some quick content warnings, broadly speaking, just so that way we have those things coming up here. Qadida as a setting generally does deal with state and political violence, and that is something that will come up in our venture today. And there's likely going to be some type of violence, maybe like interpersonal violence. We're probably going to scale back from like getting too bloody or gory or things like that. We have specified that there will not be any sexual assault. There will not be any torture mentioned in any way. So that's not going to show up here. But those are some of those blanket content warnings up front of state and political violence. and maybe specifically in case in other streams as well, there might be police or law enforcement violence. So if that's going to be uncomfortable for you, then maybe this is not the correct. This stream may have some uncomfortable moments. So we just want to at least give you a heads up and let you judge your comfort level there.
At least one character in this campaign does have the class power murder.
Yes.
I wonder which one of us it is.
All right, and in the Twitch chat, Wythe Stillfleet has said the game is one part rules light, which is very fair. Stillfleet is very accessible compared to some other tabletop role-playing games you might be familiar with. Shadowrun cough. And one part option heavy in that there's a lot of flexibility in how you build characters, ventures. One of the things that's nice about Qadida is this all kind of started from a homebrew sort of thing that I just made because I was bored and procrastinating writing a dissertation. And one part osmium, which Aaron will cover in more detail, and one part audio glitches, but that part is pretty significant. I mean, audio glitches is really what makes anything on the internet these days. But without any further ado, or if there is further ado, we can get started with our venture for today. Or maybe we can go around and have players introduce themselves. That might be a good thing to do.
Oh. I'll start.
All right.
Hey, my name's Jeff. I like RPGs. And do we have to do our characters too, or just the players for now?
Well, let's just do players now, and then we'll do characters in a little bit.
Yeah, that's it for me. No socials. Don't find me. Don't look for me.
Wow. Ethan, you want to go? Ben's going! All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Ben. Ben Ferber. You can find me online at that name, Ben Ferber. And I also like RPGs. I'm one of the mods on the Stillfleet Discord, which if you are not on the Stillfleet Discord, come join us. It's fun. You can find the link there at stillfleet.com. And yeah, love playing this game. Have played many a session with all of the people here and more.
As a comment about the Discord, I believe, and this might be a bold statement, but I believe we have the best politics channel of any Discord.
Yes, it is. It is only 75% cat pictures,
which therefore best.
We created the politics channel because we were like, oh, it would, this is appropriate to have in this server. People talk about particularly leftist things, and then the channel just instantly got flooded with everyone's cats, and just we kept doing that.
Yeah, originally it was just going to be Eric Adams posting, but hey, it's not.
Eric Adams.
So don't worry, it's not that.
Catboy Eric Adams.
Known Catboy Eric Adams, yeah.
It's already it's continuing to go wrong. Now I have Catboy Eric Adams in my head and nothing else.
My name is Ethan Gouldini. I am the art director and lead artist for Stillfleet. I like games. I like voice stuff. You can find me on social, on Instagram at Spectral House. That's about it. And look for just so many weird aliens. Just, buy the book. Play it, learn it, live it, love it, become obsessed with it. The end.
And I'm Ian. I am GMing, and I am the author of Qadida once it's complete and done. You can find me on my social medias using my name for the most part. Thing is, I don't check them as much. I have Facebook and a Twitter and an Instagram, but I don't spend as much time on it. So I will get to you eventually, unless you try to contact me through LinkedIn, in which case I will not get to you at all because I have
You're
least
bad
99...
capitalist.
I have a LinkedIn. I had a LinkedIn at one point because I had to make it for a class, and then I never checked it again.
Yeah, I think we're anti-LinkedIn here.
So,
I'm very pro LinkedIn. It's actually that's what I do all of my best posting on LinkedIn.
I mean, people have said LinkedIn is the new dating app, and anything's a dating app if you try hard enough, I suppose.
Oh God, has someone said that?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, we can't get it. We have to get to the game now.
We have to get to the. I like it. It's at 30
It's been 30 minutes. Come on.
30 minutes in, we got to, once we start having the discourse about is LinkedIn a dating app, we have to get started.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
LinkedIn is a psyop. It's fine. We all know it.
All right. So let me pull up our little stuff here so we can get started. And so you are all in. This particular team, by the way, is in Free Qadida. Free Qadida is a recently liberated experiment in anarchism, social democracy, and planned economy, right? And planned economy is going to be very important later on. For those of you who aren't sure what a planned economy is, it is where there is central government or state control of economic production and distribution, broadly speaking here. So we're not going to be, we'll try to be broad, we'll try to go in broad terms. And so what Free Qadida is an experiment in anti-capitalist community living state and things like that. But Free Qadida is struggling with trying to maintain its sort of anti-capitalist, socialist, communist, trying to figure out what it is. That's why I'm using these interchangeably, because it's a relatively new formation and it is itself trying to struggle with those forces. It is a place that, because of its internal and external threats and instability, there is a great deal of repression, and that repression usually comes in the form of various competing spy agencies. One of those spy agencies is the Free Qadida Information Agency. Free Qadida Information Agency is the spy hunters who work for Free Qadida, the state here. They try to often monitor various types of political activity, political dissent, and those types of activities. So if you're trying to look for a real world analog, think Stasi. For those of you who are familiar with the German Democratic Republic or East Germany, or if you're familiar with the excellent film The Lives of Others, kind of think Free Qadida Information Agency is those guys. And that's part of who has assigned the operation to our characters today here in Free Qadida. And that's where we will open today. That our PCs, our player characters, normally would assemble in the Free Qadida Information Office in order to get an operation. But this particular operation, they have been assigned to go to a bar nearby the offices of the Free Qadida Information Agency. And this bar's name, since I had to pull up my random bar name generator, is the Cruel Squid.
Cool.
There's
no
Off to a good
water
start.
on Qadida.
And they have been told
of water.
they got the instructions to meet at the Cruel Squid. The Cruel Squid is not normally open these hours. They were told to go into the Cruel Squid and then go back. They're not sitting at the bar like they normally do. The bar is not open. There's a few people hanging outside. They have been instructed to go into the walk-in freezer, bring no one, tell no one where you're going. So I'm assuming that we'll have all the characters, if that's okay, assembling outside of the Cruel Squid, unless you want to do something where you're walking up.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna have difficulty getting into this bar.
Luckily it's
Why is
after
that?
hours. Luckily it's after hours, so it's not like normally your character might have some trouble getting into the bar, but this bar is not in operation at this point.
Okay.
Bar.
Any bouncer would just instantly like pick me up and like toss me down the block.
what we'll say for your sake is that you're not going in through the front door. You're going in through the back. You're going in through the bar back, the kitchen side. You're not going in through the. If there were patrons, you're going back around.
That's the cooler way to get into a bar anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, and as you see me walking in, there is a sign that says like you must be this tall to enter, and I'm like a full foot below it because I am a boy. I look to be somewhere between 10 and 12, maybe it's hard to tell, and that maybe that's all you get to know about me right now. Wearing an enviro suit, basically a like Long John's-esque space suit, under sort of a heavy black coat and vest, work clothing. Strolling in as sort of like this suit is a little too big. I'm kind of a gaunt child with like messy hair. Think like Will Wheaton in Stand By Me, sort of that kind of deal.
All right, Will Wheaton and Stand By Me.
He was a skinny kid.
He was.
I could go
Right.
next.
Cool.
You see, you see a different figure, heavily cloaked figure with a cowboy hat, and it gets to the "you must be this tall." It goes back into the alley and then comes out a bit taller to and then enters in. It's wearing. It seems to be some sort of. It has like a not a robotic. How would I say? Like a lapine. I've never said it out loud. Like a lapine face, kind of like a robotic rabbit sort of face, and then like two antennas sticking out of the hat, and a huge trench coat.
Now, is this trench coat like? Is it stable or is it kind of like
Undulating.
Like, yeah, like is it like there are little things poking out there?
No, it's stable.
Undulatory.
Undulatory.
You also see some, if you had like eagle-eyed viewers, if this was like a movie, you would see some like out of a dumpster sticking out more of those antenna. Kind of just waiting there.
Kind of.
And then walks into the bar.
Right.
So we have a kid and we have a bunch of kids in a trench coat.
I am not a child.
So far.
All right, so you two have walked in to the bar. Ethan, is your character gonna show up, or is you're gonna have a different reveal?
Oh, I think my character is already in there. It's a nondescript humanoid who had no problem getting into the bar. A character who was sort of, well, not really like known around town, but like doesn't really set off any alarm bells to anybody whatsoever. Is pretty nondescript, wearing an enviro suit that's sort of been tastefully dismantled to resemble something a little bit more blazer-like. But with the tubes and the gasket still in place, if necessary in a pinch, to hastily cobble together some sort of breathing apparatus and vacuum safe seal. He just hasn't really had a need for it over the past 14 or 15 years, so it has turned into this like ensemble, and he has already sauntered into the bar and is waiting I guess in the vestibule should a vestibule present itself.
Why leave the
I
dome?
love the
The
idea
dome
of
is
like
good.
duct taping your blazer together to just make it a spacesuit.
just in a pinch, but for now it's been emblazoned.
It's been emblazoned. So you've managed to kind of get into sort of this back, sort of in the back of the bar, and the other two, there's not really a bouncer out front, but what you do see is you see a human figure kind of in what looks to be kind of like almost like a sort of a tight black sort of long like kind of like a long underwear top and maybe some like sort of dark pants. They're sort of smoking a cigarette. They look at the small child and they look at the trench coat and with the rabbit face, and they kind of look you up and down, and they're like, okay.
Can I help you?
I think you must be the right people, so and it just sort of gestures with the cigarette and then says just back there.
I'm the right people, unless this is the wrong squid.
This is the squid, and just sort of points to the back. There's a sort of big walk-in freezer.
Right.
That you can walk back into.
Just to confirm, Qadida has no bodies of water, right?
The current map has the original draft map didn't have it. There is in the current draft map there is a runoff basin. So we're gonna say there is, but it's far from where you currently are.
And there's a bunch of three-eyed fish in it, right?
I mean,
Blinkies, if one will.
Yeah,
Probably
exactly.
full of
Non-copyright violating blinkies.
They're blornkies.
Lornkies. Plinkies. Totally distinct.
They're clankies. The clankies
Yes.
of the sea.
Plinkies of the sea. So as you walk, so there is the walk-in freezer. It's currently a closed door. So as you go in that closed door, by the way, do your characters know each other, or is this the first time you've all been assembled?
I would like to say I don't know these two.
All right.
I'm not from here.
Plausible deniability. Smart.
I would say I'm a recent arrival.
Yeah, I would say my character doesn't terribly know the other ones. However, is as a person possessing an apartment in this city, has sort of proffered it to these individuals as sort of like as a starter base, considering that yours is a recent transplant.
All right.
Well, I would offer my accommodations, except for they have an open air toilet.
Oh,
I do not need a toilet. But thank you.
It's still, you don't want to have a meeting in a room and there's a toilet right in the middle of the room.
Right.
I was in prison. I just want to admit that right up front. I came from prison. I am here to lessen my sentence, to do good for the world.
We are all in a prison.
You mean like life?
It's up to us to break the walls down.
Hey, listen to this guy.
Okay.
What a riot. What a scream, what a panic. It's fantastic.
Originally I was gonna do that in the ooh voice, but I realized I can't sustain that for hours.
Think of your vocal cords.
We all live in a prison. We just have to wait for us. That was gonna be the whole character originally.
I'm just a small bean in a trench coat.
Jeff, that's such a tease. Like, you have to do it now. I mean,
No, you do it judiciously, as the muse strikes. Yeah.
All right. So there's the walk-in freezer. Have you entered the walk-in freezer yet as characters?
Yes.
Okay. So in the walk-in freezer, you notice that it's dark. Like, no one has turned on the lights. It's cold because it's a freezer. And what you find as you walk in and shut the door is that the door, because it's a sort of walk-in freezer, it just automatically shuts behind you. And as the door shuts, a lighter lights. And it's the only light inside there. And another person smoking a cigarette says, "You over there," and points to the trench coat. Can you get the light?
Where is it?
Just behind you, to the left.
I go get it. You can't really like see any. It's like hidden. Like you can't really like see it, but it kind of comes out of the like collar, just like a little.
Like a little.
Like a little like not finger. It's like a those robot. Just like
paw?
a.
Like a paw?
No, it's not a paw. It's like, what is it called? It's just like
a
a
probe.
Pincer?
Yeah, like a probe,
Pincer?
like a. Yeah.
So as you probe the light on, who you see standing before you is you see a human figure, about a middle-aged man. He's got what looks to be a sort of green, sort of cable knit wool sweater. He has a very serious knife just sort of strapped right there. He's holding a cigarette in his hand, and he sort of stubs it out. And some of you would recognize this man as Woost. And that's how he introduces himself. He says, "My name is Woost." And I'll put that in the chat for people's benefits. And I'm your handler for this operation. And I know all of your background. I know why you're all here. I've picked you all out for this mission. And I'm going to tell you what the mission is. It's important. We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, like, okay, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, just
Well,
waiting.
I'd like to say on behalf of all of us, thank you very much for your time. It's good to hear that you're our handler. That we're all in the same team here.
Great. We've got a lot to go over, but we do have to get it going. After all, we do have a bit of a head start here. So one of the things that we found out here as part of the Free Qadida Information Agency, by the way, this operation is completely under the Free Qadida Information Agency. You are all working as comrades with the Free Qadida Information Agency. And that means that you do not tell other people about your activities, not the Day Watch, not the Honorable Code, not your spouses. And that goes double for this operation. You understand that, right?
Oh, should I stop recording this? I'm just pulling your leg.
Woost looks at you very seriously and does not find this funny at all.
Just having a little fun. Hey, I'm just a little boy. I'm just a little guy. I was having a little fun with you.
Little guy, huh? Listen, I was in the original liberation conflict when I was your age. I've been fighting that long, but that's not the point. Point is, we have a general situation here, right? Basically, we've had this sort of ceasefire with Worshipful Qadida. It's lasted for a little bit, but situations are always in flux. You know that from living here in Free Qadida. Flux, change. Things have to kind of constantly move and rotate. And what we have here is that we do have a larger change of government. You understand how the government works, right? You want me to do the civics lesson for you? And he sort of takes a drag on the cigarette.
You'll never know.
No, my good sir, we don't need the civics lesson. We're quick studies, or we're all well acquainted with with the goings ons, the happen circumstances of this our fine city. So please continue.
I did graduate under school. I don't really have a degree beyond that. Don't worry about it.
Good.
I got the civics lesson.
Good. So we got the basic idea here. Worshipful Qadida, capitalists, not our friends, right? Worshipful Company, very bad capitalists, also not our friends. We have a kind of trying to stabilize here in Free Qadida. We're trying to figure out what to do. And within the sort of overall administration, the government here, as you probably know, there has been some change in our state and in how it is operated. We have a new person who has been appointed to the head of the committee. You're familiar with the committee, right?
Mm-hmm. So honestly, I would prefer you did it like they did in Fancillary, but that is what it takes.
That Fancillary, been to Fancillary. I gotta say, well, they have potential, but they're not quite there yet. But I'd agree. I wish we had that too. But anyway, what we got here is that there's been a new appointment to the head of the main governing body here, Committee for the Protection of the Revolution of Qadida, and we've got a new chair. New chair is going to be coming in, and there's going to be a new policy that's announced. Now, this is among the parts that you got to keep secret. We're gonna change our orientation here, right? Are any of you familiar with the concept of dual easing?
Unfortunately.
Blank stare.
Blank stare. Great. That's the
Blank
type
stares
of thing.
all around.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly the type of thing that you're glad we're not familiar with, that shouldn't have been announced. That means we've been keeping things nice and under wraps. Dual easing, new policy may come out fairly soon, right? We have a new chair that's been appointed. little bit to my political right, your political right, most of our political right. But frankly, sometimes that's just how stuff works out. So what we've got coming up here is we've got a new chair that is going to be appointed. Normally, we have somebody who's a bit more on our side, if you get my drift. But hey, that's not the way politics works. We have a new chair that's about to take charge, and the new chair is Yellow Tint Shaver. Yellow Tint Shaver is a wet, right? Tall, skinny, yellow, dark gray, kind of high-pitched voice, but still a pretty good public speaker when you get down to it. Basically what happened is that Yellow Tint Shaver worked their way up into the Free Workers Commandant for Foreign Exchange, understands the economy really well, and they managed to get into the chair position. They're getting real close. They're going to be appointed chair in a couple of days. And normally the Workers' Bureaucratic Union, the faction they're a part of, doesn't do all that well, but there's a little bit of compromise government. Look, it's all government stuff, right? It's all sort of party stuff that's going on. We don't need to know all of that. But
It wasn't the promise.
What?
It wasn't the promise.
What was promised to you?
I to the people. I mean, that wasn't what the promise was. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, the promise was a free Qadida, and so far we've got the free Qadida, but we got to keep it free somehow. And the fact of the thing that's going to be coming soon, what Yellow Tint Shaver wants to do is initiate a policy of dual easing. Dual easing basically means we're going to have two big changes here in Free Qadida. First big change is we're going to reduce the overall sort of law enforcement spying presence. We're going to sort of ease up on political dissent a little bit. Now, that's controversial, that's complicated, but it's probably for the best. Second thing, the even bigger, more controversial thing is that we're going to loosen some of the economic controls here on our planned economy. The Yellow Tent Shaver is going to announce a plan to allow for a surplus, and we can use that surplus to exchange with other empires, this and other companies. This might even include Worshipful Qadida. They're, after all, right next door, the most likely trading partner. So the fact of the matter is that this dual easing policy is coming out tomorrow. And the thing that we know is that the Worshipful Company doesn't want this to happen. They don't want Yellow Tent Shaver to be successful. They don't want the policy announced. And we got a leak to say that Yellow Tent Shaver is gonna be assassinated.
Wait, I'm sorry. Why do they think that the capitalists don't want there to be a capitalist?
Well, he takes a draw on a cigarette. Basically, they've got a bunch of reasons. One of the main reasons is that as long as they think that Yellow Tent Shaver might provide us with some stability, right? Might provide us with some little bit of access, some little bit of a chance. If we're the Worshipful Company of Stillfleeters, they don't want this to survive. They don't want this to work. They want Qadida for themselves. And if Free Qadida is destabilized, that's good for them. Other reasons? They're capitalists. They don't want part of it. They want the whole thing.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. I understand now.
I mean, sure, there's probably going to be some refactors here and there that are going to use side deals, side hustles, things like that. But frankly, we know the capitalists. They're going to expand. They want the whole thing. They don't want dual easing. And if they decide we announce the dual easing and they say, and we announce dual easing and the Worshipful Company says no, then they look like the bad guy. They look like the one trying to keep tensions high for their own reasons. So they don't want the announcement to come out at all. You get me?
Boy, I tell you, that's a real tangled web.
Is your mole
They're
still
seeking a
around?
weave there. Real complicated shenanigans.
It is real complicated. But the thing that's for you is pretty simple here. We know the Worshipful Company is gonna try to eliminate Yellow Tent Shaver. And you need to make sure that doesn't happen. You need to make sure that Yellow Tent Shaver makes that announcement, right? That's gotta happen, right? That's one part of your operation. you got a second part of your operation is we found out about this worshipful company team through a mole at a dead drop. And what we also need you to do is find out who this mole is.
Wait, but then so they're not our mole.
Well, we don't know what mole this is. They gave us the info. We checked it out. It's legit. But we want to figure out exactly who this mole is. So maybe we could use them later.
It's
Maybe
more of a
we could
leaker
use-
than a mole, then.
It could be a leaker. It could be a mole. I just got the data that it was a mole, right? Leaker, mole. We got the info. But you're probably more accurate.
But it's not our
Leaker,
mole.
We got fair enough. It's a mole. We need you to find the mole.
And with all of your surveillance, you didn't get any eyes sensors.
Well, I mean, it's not you didn't get it. We didn't get it. After all, when you do operations with us, you're part of us.
With all our
Except for this
sensors,
mole.
we didn't get it.
We haven't gotten it yet. Just because someone hasn't got away for a little bit, that's what your job is. The Free Qadida Information Agency doesn't always catch people immediately, but we do catch them.
But wait, we want to catch a mole in our enemy.
We want to catch the mole. We don't know who the mole is.
Where
Maybe
was
the
the dead
mole is-
drop? Maybe that's.
You want to know where the dead drop is?
Do you want to tell us where the dead drop is?
Yeah, he pulls out his he stubs out his cigarette and he says,
Oh,
"Alright,
he wouldn't be
I'm
that
gonna-"
sarcastic. My bad. Sorry.
He
Different
has,
character.
he has no appreciation for sarcasm.
Yeah, I was
um,
just saying my character wouldn't be that
fortunate.
sarcastic. My bad. Mine's a little more genuine. Sorry.
Oh, that's good.
That was
he
me,
said-
the player, being an asshole.
All right. So he says, all right, so you got your two missions here. First one, we've got to stop the assassination. You got some time if you want to research where it's likely to go down, maybe put up some countermeasures. We got a likely place where it would take place. So you could have the space to put up some countermeasures. Other part is to do a mole hunt, right? And we got where the dead drop is located. And we could put up the location here. We want to make sure the most important thing here is that we got to do a timeline, right? Because you don't have a ton of time. And we'll make sure we specify exactly what your mission is here. And we got to make sure that's 100% clear before you go forward. So first you got to prevent the assassination of Yellow Tent Shaver. Can't happen. Yellow Tent Shaver has to live. Right? 2, find the
People
mole.
die when they are killed.
Exactly.
Yes.
Find the
Well,
mole, leaker,
Sometimes.
source, whatever you want to call it. You got to find the person who did the dead drop, right? We got to find out who this person is. We know the info is good. We know the team is coming, but we don't know much about this mole. We don't like loose ends here. Third part of this is we don't want to alert the people. We don't want to alert the general public. We want to keep this clandestine. We want to keep this quiet. We do not want a big, loud show of this. Part of why we want to keep this quiet is we need to keep the people's idea that Free Qadida is strong, stable, and unified. The more we have this idea that there's the worshipful company is running around causing discord, as much as it's useful for us in the Free Qadida Information Agency to keep spying and all this stuff going, we got to recognize here that we got to understand that if we cause panic, that's not good for us. We're going for stability, and causing panic doesn't work that way.
So we should not put up posters saying "Do not kill YTS."
Ideally, you do not need to put up posters to say "Don't murder the head of the government," but that would, yes, do not put up posters saying "Don't kill YTS."
But what they taught me in school is that when you tell people what to do, they do it.
Woost looks over you, sort of folds his arms, and says, "Did someone have to instruct you to not murder and assassinate the head of government?"
I mean, I've been asked.
Someone had to ask you, hey, don't assassinate the head of government.
I didn't do it.
Okay, more importantly, does Yellowton Printer have a detail of some sort? Are we authorized to contact them, or are we not even? Are we more clandestine than that?
How hush hush are we going to be on our end trying to keep him safe?
You could have some contact with Yellow Tint Shaver's people, right? They have a security detail, but the thing of it is that we would like it if you kept a little bit of distance from Yellow Tint Shaver. After all, our timeline is pretty short, so Yellow Tent Shaver has a lot of things to do, taking over as the chair duty. Yellow Tent Shaver has a little bit of time off with their family, but this announcement's coming up pretty soon. So yeah, we could get you in touch with their, you're authorized to talk with Yellow Tent Shaver's people. They'll talk with you, and they're probably going to be at Kentara Station. Kentara Station's where the announcement's going to be. So that's probably the best place to go talk to them.
Well, we might need to scout the area out, see where the holes are, or maybe we could even sort of funnel the other team into a specific sort of plan of action so we could immediately stop them. That's just what I'm
Makes
thinking.
Makes sense.
So
go ahead.
No, so at the sound of that, my character Angero Hall gets really enthusiastic and excited. He's like, "Yeah, you're absolutely
Starts doing
right.
the finger thing.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, we're gonna have to case it. We're gonna have to case it completely. We're gonna have to make a map. See, that's the real secret. If we plot out and we map it out, we're gonna have an advantage over the other guy."
That makes sense. There's two other possible locations where YTS is going to be, but these seem a little bit less likely than the speech at Kentara Station. You can check them out if you want, but they're probably not going to be as attractive as targets. The other spot is in the collective agora in the main building. This is the main government office where the committee meets. It's not likely going to be targeted there. It's the hardest place in Free Qadida. There's going to be a lot of government, a lot of security, a lot of other stuff. So that'd be the hardest place to hit them. If that worshipful company got a team all the way there, it'd be a suicide mission. Possible, but not very likely. Second place you could check out if you want to scout it out is Yellow Tent Shaver's home. I'll put up a map in a second. In the Warren district. This is a place where they live. That's where they spend some time with their family. Again, not too likely. There's a lot of sort of community enforcement there. YTS's people are all around. So if there's going to be someone out of place, those people would know, right? YTS rolls deep in that space, has their neighbors, has their friends, has their comrades, has the other parts of their political party.
Presumably they want to make a spectacle of the whole thing in the first place, so probably not going to do it quietly.
That's a good point. There's going to be some folks who probably, if you're trying to do something with the worshipful company, they want to make a noise, they want to make a spectacle, they want to make sure dual easing doesn't happening. That's smart. I like your way you're thinking here.
Well, but you did say that they want to make sure that nobody knows that this was even going to happen. So they're going to make a statement to us, but they're not going to make a statement in a way that, oh, we're killing YTS because of the dual easing thing. It's just we're killing YTS, right? That's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah, what I'm getting at here is they want to stop the policy of dual easing. They know it's coming, right? We're pretty sure they know it's coming. If we know about it, they know about it. Night Watch has a lot of moles, a lot of informants, a lot of stuff everywhere. So that's part of why we had to move up the announcement date, make it go a little bit faster. Because once we put it out, once it's in place, it's in place. But the fact, the other part of it is basically YTS as a figure, as a sort of symbol, is the idea that Free Qadida could be stabilized, could be unified under we don't want to say an iron hand, but actually a kind of loosening grip, or that easing grip, right? That open hand policy. I like the open hand more than dual easing, but I'm not
some kind of grip with some kind of ferrous element.
I'm not a
Exactly.
fan of the great weight in theory of history, to be fair. I mean, history is made by different people and, collectives,
History
populations.
history is made by collectives and populations, but sometimes you do need that one person to kind of rally around, the point person, right? So when you go through the door, someone has to go in first. And I don't agree with a lot of YTS's politics. I think it's wrong. But the fact of the matter is, stability would be good for us. And YTS could provide that. Worshipful Company doesn't want that.
Well, and you're also saying that if YTS gets, then bye-bye stability anyway. So
Precisely. If YTS gets killed, especially publicly killed, you got to imagine that there'd be a lot of finger pointing inside and out.
Paranoia, right?
Exactly. Now, granted, paranoia works well for us, but frankly, part of the dual leasing is to say that maybe we need to retire some of our methods.
So
what
actually,
are the
another
what are the methods we would be retiring?
I mean,
Just so
yeah.
I,
Can you
just so
make
I know
an
if we
itemized
fail at
list?
this job, what's off the table?
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you've lived here, you all, and he points to like, I'm pretty sure I didn't have all the files complete, but you all live here, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
No.
I know you.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. So if you all live here,
It's complicated. Is being imprisoned living?
right, you're the one who was a guest of the state.
Yes, that's right. I'm fulfilling my duties to society.
Angero
Yes.
chimes in. But I can vouch for him. Yes, I can.
So right, so maybe we should check up and make sure all your documents in order. Are all your documents in order?
Yeah, and Guy hands Woost the like his documents, which are like it's basically like one small, like like this size card, like a regular size thing, and then like stapled to it is like kind of like a big sheaf of papers, with like, and they're like dog-eared. There's like a lot of writing on them, and just like quickly shuffles that into Woost's hands. Says,
Mhm.
Please be discreet.
Discrete. So he's flipping through the documents and checking them out. And one of the things that is true mechanically in Qadida that is not true in Stillfleet is that characters have to roll for the status of their documents. So did you do that? Did all of you do that at character creation, or do we want to do that now?
We can definitely do that now.
All
I
right.
did
Ian,
not.
you and I talked about the status of my documents.
I know the status of your documents.
Yeah.
I basically just the idea is I just flew in. Well, I did confirm. Boy, my arm's tired.
Thank you.
I did confirm. I guess out of character with you, Ian, that I am part of HCO. So, I was assuming I was just like really recently smuggled across the stiff works and then brought here, and then now I'm arriving here. I'm like your outside. What do you call it? Like the experience
Got a man
specialist?
on the outside.
No,
Outside
like the
agitator?
No, what was that? What was that group? They would go around helping revolutions.
Oh, Che Guevara?
No, like helping revolutions and other.
Right there. But a bird.
Yeah, sure. Anyway,
Oh, is that bird Che Guevara?
Yes.
Got it. I was like, oh, that's a nice bird.
He's got a little head. So Jeff, could you roll me a D4, please?
yeah. But I guess what I mean is like I am a HCO operative who's like, goes around helping like, movements. Oh, is this? The bot did not roll it. That was weird. There you go. Okay, I'll just do it. It was working the other day. That's weird.
Oh, it might also be because this is a brand new channel that we're in.
It's a 3.
Right. So, Bliss looks over Guy's documents and says, "All right, comprehensive, thorough. You got a lot here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's kind of complicated.
Yes, I understand. That's why you're here. Looks over Dog's documents and says, "These are pretty good, but you're a little light here. Just be careful." And
They're
then
not real, to be fair. I mean, you could give me real ones.
these are look, we're at a bit of a time crunch. As long as you keep your nose clean, you should be fine, right?
I do
But
not have a nose, but okay.
it's a metaphor. But basically, don't go too much to the day watch offices. Just be careful. And then Angero, did
Wait,
you
when?
roll for documents?
Angero has rolled, and it is a 2. It's a D4.
D4, yeah.
Yeah, it
So-
is a 2.
So for the mechanics explanation purposes, a 1 means you have no documents. A 2 means you have like some forged documents that are like pretty good forgeries, but they're definitely fakes. A 3 is basically that you have accurate documents, but you don't have all the documents that you need, right? Maybe they're a little incomplete. And a 4 is that you've got everything.
And I
all your
will
paper-
reveal that I have a 4 with a bunch of asterisks on it.
Yes, a 4 with a lot of asterisks.
One of
Your
the
doc-
asterisks is that I'm a prisoner.
Yes. Your documents are complete because they were made complete by someone else. You must have them complete. So Willis takes a look at your documents and be like, "This is a pretty good forgery, but I wouldn't try to pass these around too often. So if someone asks you for your papers, maybe," and he points to the child, "hand over your papers first."
Yeah, that seems like a terrible idea. Because nobody's gonna believe shit.
um, but he Wiss says, "All right, so we've got the places, likely assassination points. If you're asking me, and if you're asking the analysis of the Free Qadida Information Agency, most likely place to attempt the assassination is going to be at the announcement in Kentara Station. But it might be worth checking out the other places. House of the Warren District, you might get a little bit of info there. Collective Agora, not as important there. It's very heavily guarded and surveilled, but the Collective Agora is good for another reason. That's where we found the dead drop, right? That's where the dead drop was. So if we're gonna try to find the mole, that's where you'd go for that's probably a good place to start."
How long ago?
We found basically we got the dead drop in terms of our time. We had this on YTS -4. YTS, by the way, refers to Yellow Tent Shaver Day. That's the day of the announcement. It is currently YTS -2, meaning you have 2 days before YTS's announcement to make sure that any security you want to do has to get done.
Who is in charge? Do we know who is in charge of patrolling that area, or do you guys have like? I guess like what I would like to ask is like who. You guys talk about having surveillance. Like, who surveils that area, basically?
You talking Kentara Station?
No, where the dead drop was, because yeah,
Dead drop's right in front of the Collective Agora, so it'd be a combination of us. It'd be a combination of some of the local community police. Frankly, it's going to be some of the political factions are watching it. Challenge is that there's enough people doing enough passing around of messages. Frankly, it wouldn't surprise me that if one slipped through, but there's enough goes on out front there that it didn't get by us, but because after all, we did get it.
mm-hmm. I guess would it matter like what time of day it was, or should we just like get rolling?
I mean,
Right
I for
now,
one would definitely drop information at a dead drop in the middle of the day. If that were me, I would do it in broad daylight in the middle of a square, as this dead drop is in.
one of the things
Bold idea.
one of the things that we suspect that we
I'm being
can't
sarcastic.
confirm is that it'd be easy to do a dead drop for somebody who's there routinely, who's there all the time.
Right. I was just asking about time of day so that when we go there we could just see like when is this shop open? When is this shop open? And then base who to go after based on that. You know what I mean?
That if you're asking for where the dead drop is, the dead drop right there is in a collective Agora. Outside the
No, I
collective...
meant when. I was like just wondering when did you retrieve it? Sorry, that's basically it. Like,
Right,
was it at?
He said it was retrieved. Basically, it was retrieved 2 days ago, and we'll say it was retrieved in the. We say we found it in the evening, about 2 days ago.
Oh, evening. All right.
It was in the evening time. Can't
Right.
give you better info than that. That's when we got it. We can't be totally sure of when it was dropped.
Okay. That's fine. I guess I'll start walking out. But then there's a door there, so then I turn around. Sorry, are we done here?
I think we need to start pounding that pavement ASAP, as soon as possible, is what that means.
And Wuss just sort of nods at the pounding the pavement.
Well, I don't know about that. I got bad knees. I guess I don't have bad knees anymore. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Oh, one more thing before I go. And he hands you what looks to be like some small radios, just like little bits of radios. He says, "This radio goes in one direction. It goes straight to me. It doesn't go to anybody else. So if you need a quick question, I'll pick it up. Do not lose it. Do not give it to someone else."
I'm gonna like gonna like take it, I guess, and it's like gonna disappear into the trench coat. It's like a little, not like, it's like two, if you ever seen like a robot, like a assembly line machine, like it has like the two grabber things. It's when I'm gonna come out of the code and like grab it and then just kind of like take it. And then you hear a little bit of a.
You have like a little clamp that comes out. Wuss sees this and he's seen a lot, but this is still strange to him.
Well, you already know who I am.
Still a little uncanny.
Still a little weird.
Tastes good.
Boy, I tell you, it takes all kinds.
You gonna eat the rest of that?
Well, the idea is I just kind of like incorporated it into my like machinery.
Don't worry, gents. There's going to be plenty of time to eat electronics later.
Or like grafted it, I guess, but it's not really a graft because I'm not like organic, you know. I guess it's just
no,
like
I like
kinda...
eating. Let's say you ate it.
It's like I plugged it in, basically. I'm thinking more of it's like a plug-in, like I just kind of like plugged it in.
I was picturing it more of engulfing it.
I'm thinking more of like when you add a hard drive to your computer.
Yeah, at first I was
properly
like,
integrated.
Tetsuo like grabbing like technical stuff.
No. It's not like that. No. I don't have any nano machines, I don't believe.
All right. So as you leave, you've got some options of where to go, and I'm going to just put up the map so that way you can see it. All right. So there should be a stream coming through right now. Oh no. Okay.
I think wife has to, because wife is streaming it, wife has to click on it, doesn't he?
Oh, I think I got it. Is that it?
I don't see it yet.
I can see it.
We have to watch stream.
Non-video participants. Got it.
Right, but I mean, like, I think on the stream itself, if wife doesn't,
yeah, the stream cannot see it yet.
Oh, the stream cannot.
Because wife has to click on it, and if wife has moved away, then that would be unfortunate. Yeah, good.
Have that data fixed in post at 1 team in the stream.
Well, I mean, like, wife just has to like clip into the watch the stream himself on his computer.
He is here.
Yeah. Because the chat is also there, so like you just have to actually like like right click on Ian and then watch stream, and then it should show up on the stream itself.
Yeah,
Replacing
I had
our
also
camera.
hidden non-video participants like Wife did for the stream, and then I had to re-show them and then click on the watch stream button.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, what I think you're gonna wanna. Yeah.
Put it in full screen though.
There it is.
Awesome.
Behold, the viewing globe.
So for the sense of geography, since it's basically, we'll call it nighttime here, you won't have to do too much in terms of encounters in order to go to a first place. But let's see if you can see my little map here. So you are in the Helshia district, so you're kind of right near here. So we'll just say you're about here. If you're looking for
Dead
where
center.
if you're looking for where you could go, the collective agora, where the government office is in the dead drop, is roughly here. So it's not kind of far away, but not that far away. Near the collective agora is Kantara Station, so you can get there pretty quickly. And if you're looking for YTS's house, we'll just say for the sake of ease, it's basically parallel to that, like about here. So everything is pretty much in a line for you to get to. So you have those as your destinations. And for the rest of the stream here, everything to the right of this line that says the span, this is all free Qadida, and everything to the left is worshipful Qadida, and worshipful Qadida will be covered more in the upcoming stream.
Episode 1, Free Qadida. Episode 2, Worshipful Qadida. Episode 3, Free Qadida.
Yes.
Yeah.
Episode 4.
Some of our draft documents are like episode 1A, episode 1B, episode 1 2A, final, dot.
Dot underscore.
So as you leave the cruel squid, do your characters come up with a plan? What are your characters thinking? What are they doing?
Yeah, I guess like I'm just gonna try to go to the. I was thinking about just going to the dead drop first, and talking to whoever we can contact there. But I assume doesn't someone have a power that is for the situation?
I can case the joint.
Yeah, I was also thinking of the
Andy.
What's it called? The one that Hall has.
Which one?
Is it corkboard?
Oh, corkboard, like sort of corkboard photos, red strings.
Yeah.
Oh, Ethan, do you have that?
I do.
Yeah, I have Reconnoiter, which basically lets me take as many a couple rounds to study a structure or a situation, and then essentially get the layout of it and like who's there, how they're armed, etc.
That might
It
help
doesn't
with
give me
like
disposition;
Kentaurus.
it just gives me like physical layouts of it.
I realized we didn't introduce our character classes, which might be useful for folks new to Stillfleet or Qadida. So maybe we could take some time to just briefly go over what the character class is.
Totally.
You want me to start? Mine probably the easiest. I am a cherub, and I am a Salvatore and demolitionist. And the idea is just like I go around. My character's idea is like I go around and I blow stuff up for people, because destroying infrastructure of any kind is one of the best ways to do a revolution. You gotta break things down sometimes. That's me.
Yeah,
And it's a new class. Exclusive to Qadida.
Right.
So Angero's character, Angero Hall, is a hook, which is a new class also for Qadida, and it is a spy hunter or detective. In my case, he is on a mission, this venture doing spy hunting, or I guess more mole hunting, but really I would probably identify more as a detective detecting things. And the hook reads as, Qadida is full of spies, double agents, and double crosses. You are likely a current or former law enforcement agent, or you have spent a lot of time learning who's who and what's what. I think, despite working for a security outfit, Angero is more in the latter. He's born and raised in Qadida and knows the guy who knows the guy and knows the lay of the land.
And then Gey van Poope, the child, is technically a dual class, but not really. There is a class with two names. It's from the original release. It's called Jackal and Mouse. If anyone listening to this listened to Float City, which a lot of people came to the game through, Oat, the Harajun jackal, was a jackal, which is essentially a criminal, a mafioso of some sort. Who has
equivalent to the rogue.
Sort of, yeah. They can lie to anyone and make them believe it. They can steal things with a very easy-ish check. Some of them have the power to just do a murder. That's one of them that I have. The other side of the class is called Mouse, which is essentially a stowaway or orphan, like a sort of unassuming, feeble-looking person or entity who turns out to be more than they seem. A trickster essentially, and they instead of the killing powers, they have one of their marquees is kawaii, which basically means no one can attack them until they have attacked first, because they don't appear to be a threat. So I am a dual class jackal mouse for reasons that you will learn. So I both have murder and kawaii, which you are not allowed to have unless you dual class.
It's the I can kill you, but you can't try to kill me first.
That's exactly right.
And I remember if the way that kawaii works as a power is that someone can't attack you until you attack them.
That's correct, yes.
But if
you simply don't appear to be a threat, an opponent cannot inflict damage against you unless you attack, steal from, or otherwise attempt to harm them first.
It's sort of your first strike power is basically being a harmless-looking child.
I'm a child. No one wants to hurt a child. Or am I?
Oh, actually, before I forget, when we're outside, Dog is gonna turn to you said Argenio? Argenio? How did you pronounce?
Angero.
Angero. Actually, I need to store some things.
Angero looks like, oh well, yeah, absolutely. Like I said when you first got here, my apartment, be it ever so humble, is your apartment for however long you need to get on your feet. Your multiple feet.
And then I think in the alleyway you see tiny white robots come out from behind a dumpster from different places. They're less white. They're more kind of translucent. Has anyone ever seen sea jellyfish or?
Yeah, it's sort of like a translucent whitish,
an
early Apple product.
N64.
Yeah, so they come out and they all look kind of slightly rabbitish. They all seem to have slightly different bodies because there seems to be aftermarket modifications necessarily, and yeah, they just start coming out from behind. It's yeah, if you could just provide the address, don't worry, I can get in. Tell me where it is.
Angero's looking as more and more of these robots start coming out of.
If you start counting, it will end up being 64 of them. Yes.
Yeah,
and
64. Counting and counting.
Stop at 64.
Yeah, there's 64 of them. You don't see all of them because some are still in dumpsters and stuff like that. But there's a bunch.
A sapient collective automaton. So how many? He starts calculating roughly square meters in his apartment, thinking well, if a couple don't mind swapping places on the landing from time to time, yeah, I think we can make this work.
Yeah, and if you could carry some on you, actually. It would probably be helpful.
So he reaches down and like gets on one knee and sort of like one scoops up a rabbit.
It's like it's more like the size of a clothing iron, but like you can like I
Yeah.
think you
So
can like put it
how
in a
heavy
backpack.
are they?
They're not that heavy at all.
Oh,
They're,
so, yeah. Well, I can. Yeah, he's like you might not notice from these fancy duds, but these were once upon a time an enviro suit, and I guess technically still are. And sort of undoes like a flappy doodle on one side of his suit, and there's like a little kind of mylar pouch, and he's like, well, I guess I could fit one of yous here. He's like, I guess I can fit one of yous
you
on
have
my
like
back.
a backpack or
Yeah, he's got a standard like a kit backpack too. He's like, I think I can carry like three of yous. Yeah, I think I can do.
I think
do
two
three.
is fine. Two is fine.
Two's fine. Two's easy. No problem. Perfect.
Yeah. And then
We can also say that my
guy.
long coat has a hood.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess one of them jumps in there.
Here.
All right, this is gonna work. Okay. Actually, one from like wearing the hat, like kind of jumps out and like lands in there, and then throws the hood, the hat to the next one on the stack.
Which one of you is speaking, or is it all of you at the same time?
It is the one with the hat that's speaking.
Cool.
So when they throw the hat, now the voice comes from the one wearing the hat.
The behatted one.
We don't need to communicate like this, but we find it's helpful to so you know who to look, where to look. People like
Like which direction?
Yeah.
Who is speaking at any given time?
Yeah. People find it a bit unpleasant when we I don't care for this language, to be fair.
Yeah, we got to keep this. If we're keeping all of this hush hush, then we got to put people at ease. It's good thinking.
Yeah, I just thought you were a couple kids in a trench coat.
What? No.
If you got a trench coat, then you could be one kid in one trench coat, and then we've got 76, 60, 64, 67, 28. How many of you are there again?
I'm not counting how many of you there are. There's a lot of you.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, just tell us the address, and the rest of them will meet you there. And then if you want to do a smash cut to your apartment, and there's just like a big
pile of them, yeah.
They're just like
are they like
room.
self-assembling? Are they like neatly stacking themselves, or
They're like trying to. If you have like a container, some go into the container. some go into your closet just to like be neatly there.
Just be nice, just chill, yeah.
And then like some like set out like what's that like that mat with the like tools on it on like a table. Yeah. Some like
tool roll,
out.
yeah.
And like they each start like from inside of themselves start like placing tools on it, and just in case.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think at this point they're taking up. They're not filling the apartment. They are taking up a goodly percentage of it. So
well, they can kind of like compact themselves. Like most of them are like kind of like compacting themselves in the thing, and then like I guess you could just see like three of them sitting around the tool roll and being like, okay,
cool.
But that's like at the same time we're over here because they left already. They broke into.
They've already Yeah, the apartment isn't that far away, so this would be like over the next 20 minutes or so while we're doing other things. Also, at that same point, they are acclimating themselves to their new digs.
How strong you want your I don't know how strong your lock is, but they almost definitely break into it.
Oh, yeah, it's probably just a clank door, so they're not going to have a problem with it.
Yeah, if it's like 1-1.
Yeah, it's just they just instantly they're like,
well,
maybe they think they have to like open a complex lock and they just blow it off of the door hinge.
Click out a 1, 2 is binding, nothing on 3.
Yeah. If you want me to spend grit for that, Ian, I could, but I'd rather not. So there's that.
I don't think you have to spend grit because it sounds like from what Ethan said, the lock would be pretty easy to get into.
Yeah.
It's like my cat getting in and out of the laundry room. Just
I also can move in through spaces too, to be fair. So I might just, if there's like a big enough opening, I might just squish through. Because I have tight space. I took tight spaces as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
right. So you've gathered, assembled basically dog and the sufficient number of dual and packed them all in. So
Yeah,
where is
so-
your party off to?
So 3, there are 5 with us right now.
Okay.
One with
I've
one in
seen it.
Guy, 2 on Angero, and 3 kind of in the trench coat sort of thing.
And so, Jeff, for the people unfamiliar, when you're playing as dual, you're playing as kind of like a distributed set of automata. That's right, or like robots. Not automata.
Yeah, this is, I would say it's like kind of like a colony,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not there's not like oh, I forgot the term. I'm not trying to claim what is it called? We have
They're hive mind, right?
I think it's less like a hive mind and more just you are
Like, are they like eusocial, like the way like ants or termites are?
mm, I would say 90 maybe less like that and more like how does this say? Fudge, why am I trying to say?
Well, it's like one person with many bodies, right?
You know NAS? Like the computer thing? Like the hard drive thing you can do? The network attached storage?
Oh, do you mean like a Beowulf cluster?
Is that Beowulf class?
It's a supercomputer made of multiple less powerful computers.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like that. And then because like the processing power is just distributed over several bodies. So like the less bodies I have, the less strength of like the less power I have technically.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But
Go ahead.
yeah, but then there's some like I'm not gonna get into like there's essentially like other dual and I have a way if we meet them I have a way to like how do you say reconcile that, but since there probably won't be, we don't have to.
All right. So as far as your mission goes, since you've got the 5 dual with you being carried by a guy, is it Guy or Gey?
It's Guy.
Guy. All right.
Well, so the name is Gey Poop, right? Like let's
Poop.
just get out there and say the name is Gey Poop, but
All right.
Oh, Ben,
I don't know if everyone has
did you
seen
make a funny with
the
your
list of Quaker names that's been going
Right.
around Twitter.com recently, but obviously the best one on that list is Gey Poop.
literally
And so
mine was Revolution 6 Smith, to be fair. I thought that was
that's
pretty good.
also
too.
really good.
That's a really good one.
But anyway, it's pronounced Guy Pope for Guy Pope.
Guy
Yeah.
Pope. So you have a couple of places where you can go in terms of like since you have basically 3 parts of the contract, and one is to not alert the public. So you can generally do that by not alerting the public. But you can, or operation, I should say, because it's not a contract. Worshipful Company has contracts. You can go. You are currently in this Helshia district. This is a district that's a bit more built up, kind of like a propaganda village. You'll see that there is Daywatch offices here. The Free Qadida information. Daywatch is the honorable company counterpart to the Night Watch. The Night Watch will be introduced much more in the next game, but the Night Watch is kind of the spy agency. Daywatch is the honorable co-version of it. Night Watch is the worshipful co-version of it. But your office of the Free Qadida Information Agency, or at least who you're working for, is in this Helshia district is there. That's where you are. The Warren district has Yellow Tent Shavers' home, so you could go check out their home, their neighborhood, if you wanted to. That was one potential assassination target, but not one of the more likely ones. The collective Agora over here is where you'd find the main government building, and that was another unlikely assassination attempt place, but you can check that out. But it is where the dead drop was discovered. So that would be another place to go. And then there is Kantara Station. This was selected as the most likely target, given that that's where the policy, where ITS is going to announce the policy of dual easing in approximately 2 days.
Yeah, I think we talked about going to the dead drop, right?
Yeah,
I
I'd like to go there
idea too.
first. Keep people's memories fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 2 days ago already.
As you walk out of the Helshia district, the Helshia district has been really developed by the Honorable Company. The Honorable Company has tried to it started to implement a policy known as the Great Uplift. The Great Uplift is going from across the Honorable Company's sphere of influence and trying to upgrade the technology in those spaces. So you can see in the Helshia district that everything is fairly technologically sophisticated, much more so than the rest of Qadida is. It's much more updated, much newer, much more. It's not quite in the level of like it is future. It would be like future tech to us, but it might be more familiar to you as people in this universe. When you get to the Warnrin district, what you encounter are a lot of sort of buildings that are more foreign to you, more strange to your characters, but to players, you would imagine something that would be like a lot of the architecture resembles the architecture that you might find in the early 20th century Europe, right? So you're thinking kind of lots of things that look very brick, very stone. There is a sense of architecture, like there's a sense of like ornamentation and design, but a lot of the buildings are very practical, right? It is a very strong practical sense of buildings are unique. They do look like they have been crafted. They're not like crazy geometric shapes. They're still kind of rectangles of various sizes, but they're not made to look exactly uniform.
Is it more like they just all kind of got built at the same time and not over time as like some other cities?
A strong sense that these were built at a similar time, like maybe not at the exact same time, but they were built with like there's some level of like architectural design. I don't want to say flair to it, but there's difference. The buildings are
Right.
different from each other. They're not like uniform.
Like there's a building code, but you know, as long as you adhere to the and the code is like probably apparent, but like, you know, different people still built them.
Yes, they're built by different, like they would be built by different people around the same time period. Like that sort of architectural style that wants buildings to be unique and wants the city to have a certain character, and is not interested in building uniform buildings.
So it's a works project.
It was a works project at one point, yes. But what you notice in the Wernwin district is that everything is fairly like it's fairly clean. Right. In other words, the buildings are old. They're very old by Stillfleet standards, but they're still standing up, and they are well maintained. They look good. They're old buildings, but they're very well cared for by the community. So as you walk through, you get the sense that you also see that there's, and you would know this because you live there, but and for those of you who are outside, you'd be that there's not really litter on the streets. There's not really disorder. Like things are very neat in the Warnwing district. And as you go through there, and you said you were heading to the collective agora, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The collective agora and you're getting to the point where the sun is starting to come. The sort of day-night cycle is not quite accurate in Qadida, but the energy dome that surrounds the city and prevents the city from floating off into space and having to deal with the radiation and all the bad stuff. Maybe not floating off into space, but dealing with all the radiation and bad stuff. Sort of gives you a kind of
air in.
Keeps the air in and keeps all the space bad
outside
out.
it's a moon or an asteroid.
There is no atmosphere outside of this dome. So it
I mean, I can go out. I have a working enviro suit on.
I don't
Well,
breathe,
that
so,
makes one of us.
Yeah.
That you could go in Qadida, you could go out, but you'd have to have a place to go out, which there aren't.
Also, you have to consider there is still a It's still orbiting a stellar body, right?
It is still orbiting a stellar body.
So
But
even if you're in your environment suit, you're not necessarily protected against the radiation.
correct.
That's true.
Well, but your target in the collective agora is safely inside the dome as this sort of
Not for
day
long.
cycle. Yeah, well, if you blow up the dome, that will count as probably a failure condition if you kill everybody.
Listen, I have gotten radiation poisoning before. I'm fine to getting a little more radiation poisoning. I sort of reset that timer.
Okay, all right.
And
You're
so
very, you're a very tough kid. We all get it. Tough as nails.
right.
That's right. I am a kid.
So I'll stop the stream there to pull up the plans. So as you get to the collective agora, what's outside of the collective agora building, there's a main sort of big imposing parliament building. This was taken over as Free Qadida was established to become the sort of main office for the ruling. There's a single ruling party, and the party is the Party for the People of Free Qadida, or PPFQ for shorts. And the main governing body that the PPFQ has established is the Committee for the Protection of the Revolution of Qadida, and that's CPRQ for short. And what is in this large, imposing parliament building outside? You can see outside of the building, one of the things that the collective agora still allows and tolerates are various speakers that they can come out with their megaphones, their their crates, their boxes, and they can use the space to discuss political theory, have speeches, debates, whatever it is.
So what kind of weirdos are on the megaphones right now?
It's pretty early in the morning.
Yeah, so where's Diogenes?
Well, Diogenes is in his barrel and not engaging in any of this.
All right. So Qadida and Diogenes is in their hollowed out space barrel.
Out.
I don't know.
The space Diogenes is in the space barrel, doing space things. So there's the dead drop
barrel.
That normally at this time, like, you don't have a ton of people because it's fairly early in the morning, and let's be honest, a lot of people who want to yell about various anarchist ideas, they're not exactly early risers. So what they want to do but you do see one person standing on top of a box, right? And this is a box that looks familiar to you. And you see this person standing on top of the box, and they are absolutely outraged. They're outraged. They're saying things like, we need strong hand. We need to maintain authority here. We cannot have the disillusion and the division that comes along with allying with those capitalist dogs. And he's kind of saying this to not a lot of people, because there's not a lot of people around, but he's just sort of yelling at this at people who are walking by.
Is that offensive to you? Your name is Dog.
An acronym. Also, we're not speaking
I just want to
English.
defend my new friend's honor. I'm just saying.
This is a weird. This is like when Tolkien said Frodo isn't actually their name. It's like Bryn. It's all being translated to the viewer. Like you.
What language?
His name is Bryn?
It's something like that.
You mean to tell me your actual name is Bryn? You call him Bryn?
No, like Frodo's the localization of the name using linguistic tools. It's not important. You look it up. Look it up your own damn time. Praise for this one. Pour one out for JRR.
Yeah. We're going to stop everything right now, and we are going to go look up Conlang linguistics for Middle Earth.
Yeah, look, a picture of...
Sorry, his real name is Mara.
In there.
Frodo Bagwin's real name is Mara Labingi.
Technically, I was closest with Ding Dong.
But it's an English translation of the name. But that's why I was like, it's not important. It's like.
Oh my god, I'm gonna change my name to Mara Labingi. I'm sorry.
Oh, instead of like Sweeney Todd's, what is it? Sweeney Todd's notes app
Sweeney Todd's,
apology.
no tough apology. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Moving forward.
Moving forward. So you see on top of the box, right? If you so you see that maybe you could decide what you want to look at here. So you see a person engaged in a lot of like heated trying to pick a debate, argument, fight.
This
About
guy's a
things.
Stalinist. We got it.
Yeah, and he's standing on top of a box.
huh?
Does the box look like it would have stuff in it?
The box looks like on the outside it has what looks to be a gear, right? Like a sort of gear with like a clockwork.
Like a painted gear or an actual embedded gear?
It is a painted gear, right? And this is a gear that you, as Qadida, those of you who are from Qadida, would recognize as a symbol of one of the political factions known as the Greuge. Right, so this is a Greuge box. And on the gear, right, outside of the gear here, what you see is it looks like there is a chalk mark, one in pink going sort of from the top left down to the bottom right, and then another in another color from going the opposite direction in a sort of like baby blue, as in two different pieces of chalk on over top of this gear.
I think I got this. Can I like sneak over?
Are you trying to sneak over without being seen by the person on top of the box?
Yeah. I want to just one of my bodies will try to just come out from below the trench coat so it gets shorter, and then it just just kind of crawls over.
Can you roll a move sneak check for me, please?
Yeah, I can do that.
And this will be contested. This is a normie, so you have to beat a 5.
I think this is an absolute sicko, but all right, if you say so. What is it? I have a 1d10 plus 1. I hope you can't hear this siren. Come on. All right. Sorry, I kind of like erased. 11. I rolled max.
Max.
Suck at you.
Since you absolutely killed here, you can tell me what happens.
I just like get out from underneath, and I just kind of like I don't have. I do have legs, kind of, but it's like I kind of think of it as like I do have like things that look like legs, but what actually is like underneath them is like Sealy, like the little like hairs or like little like like sea anemones and stuff like that. Cilia, there you go. And it's like I just have like tiny little. It's like I have like a bunch of tiny little wheels, and so I just kind of like glide over. I don't think it like makes that loud of a sound this time. It's just like I just kind of like glide over across like the however far we are, and I am the size of a clothing iron, for example. So it's kind of like a little Roomba, kind of slightly translucent Roomba.
Since you rolled max, you got really close to the box. The box is big enough that like it's obviously big enough to support the weight of a full-grown man, but it does have some holes in the side of it, so you'd be able to see inside. And depending on the size of your body, I don't know if the hole is big enough for you to get inside.
I do have tight spaces. That
works.
Oh
yes, tight space. Can you describe the power tight spaces?
Yeah, so tight spaces is an espionage power. It's a passive. There aren't many places you can't fit. You have the ability to flex, bend, and squish your mass into spaces that push the limits of most sapiens. You can't actually rearrange your body or turn to liquid, but you can wiggle your way through vents, windows, or other tiny spaces.
Given that you're about the size of like one of your bodies is about the size of like a rabbit, right?
Yeah, that was like an iron, like a clothing iron was like kind of the height I was thinking about. So yeah, I guess rabbit.
there's a hole big enough that you could probably, with tight spaces, you could squeeze through. Like that would definitely work, given that you have a tiny rabbit body, a tiny clothing iron size body, and the hole is probably big enough for you to get through. So you could get sort of inside and underneath this box if you wanted to.
First, I wanted to see what the chalk said. Chalk's on the outside, right?
The chalk, yeah, the gear. There's 2 chalk marks, right? And since you're close enough, you can see that it looks like there's one in pink, sort of going in one direction, and then overlapping is one in blue, kind of going the opposite direction. This is, if someone, you can all probably see this mark from a distance. So if someone wants to roll either a will or a reason, whichever's higher, to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, I think Angero's rolling.
Okay, cool.
I'll roll my
He's gonna be
D4.
rolling a reason to try and deduce this.
What do you say, Ben?
It is a
I'll roll
5.
my D4.
5. With this, you probably don't have enough of a detail, but you know that this is like a dead drop signal, right? So this would like add up to you, be like, this was probably somebody signaling like there's something in this box, and then it was signaled that it was picked up.
I guess so like one is that and one is the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I squeeze in then.
Right. So you squeeze you squeeze in, and what you see inside is that you see inside the box, there's mostly a box inside, but you see inside the box, you see that there is what looks to be a signature in the same pink chalk that you saw on the outside. The pink chalk, by the way, looked like it was the first hash mark, and the blue hash, the blue cross was on top of it. So the blue cross was made second. And inside, there is a signature that just says AY.
It says what?
AY.
Oh, wait.
Sort of like with a little line and then A alpha Y.
Like signed.
Like basically you see this as a signature. Somebody signed this.
Yeah. Oh, would I know who this is? I feel like I do know. Oh, this is unfortunate for Jeff, I guess. But
Jeff knows who this is, but
okay, yeah.
D.O.G does not know.
So okay, is that all I see inside the box?
Yeah, that's pretty much it inside the box. Like, there's not much else in there. Like, it's a box. It's an empty box. You see that it's sturdy.
I guess I'd try to get out.
Roll me another move check and we'll see. Like, if you get out, without being noticed.
Squigged inside that little.
Yeah, I have to squeeze back out.
We'll see how much we'll make it contested to see if this person is. Okay, they can't beat that. So they're in the middle of, trying to say, we need to crush the Worshipful Corporation, not work with the Worshipful Corporation.
So I get out. First I actually wipe the chalk mark first.
Oh, the chalk mark that's on the inside?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you wipe that one out.
And then I get out, I mean.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can retcon that. So yeah, the person on the box, he doesn't notice that like you've gone in and out of the box.
I guess I quickly go over to the rest of the party, and then I'm the one once I join underneath the trench coat, the one in the hat says, it's marked AY. Do you know anybody of that? Those initials? I mean, if they were to use their real initials, that would be a little bit unnecessary, but I'm not going to question the meta of this adventure any more than that. I'm going to leave it at there.
Yeah, I don't know anyone. I don't know. Is there any A's?
Starts with A, ends with Y, I'm assuming. Yeah. We could also
probably the one name starts with A and the other name starts with Y.
Yeah. We could also try to make a fake dead drop, and I could hide inside, and then.
Couldn't you just hide inside the real dead drop?
No, sorry, make a fake mark, because we noticed that the blue mark went on last, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we could like make a so I guess like there's
Yeah,
like
we
a
put
50.
the mailbox thing up.
Yeah, basically we just like wipe the chalk and do it over again, and then we leave me inside, and then we could track me to the.
Oh, so you would a part of you would be brought to wherever.
Yeah.
And use you as a homing device.
Yeah, we could do that if you want.
Yeah, that's cool.
But there's no guarantee that this person
I like
will
that
come
idea.
back. That's the only problem. It could just be some random person.
Well, but I feel like if there's a random person using the dead drop, probably like related to the other people using the dead drop, right? Don't you only use a dead drop if you're related to the people with the dead drop?
I mean, who knows? I mean,
What
I think
if
it
you
might
drop the wrong
depend on.
information to the wrong person?
It's a risk.
Are you gonna get bored
It's a
in
risk
there?
I'm willing to take.
Am I gonna get bored in there? What do you mean?
Are you gonna get bored in there? Waiting in that box?
No, I'll be with you guys.
Okay.
What do you mean?
I would get bored in there.
But I'm not there. I'm here.
Yeah, but if you're waiting in there.
But I'm also here. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but if I were in there, I'd be bored.
Yeah, but I'm not only there. I'm also here. You get?
Yeah, you and I are different. That's something that's different about you from me, and I appreciate that.
Okay. I'm glad you
Because
understand.
I would get bored in there.
Okay. You know what? Fine. All right. All right. All right. I'm
You
glad I
have a
was
skill that I do not have.
You could learn it.
I could not fit into that hole. My
But
skull is way
can
too
he
big for it.
though?
Yes.
So Dog's plan is to erase, like, to mark the chalk again, like to erase the mark.
Yeah,
and then
basically
put
like make it so that it's like as if they drop something off themselves and then just kind of like wrap up one of me or a homing device. Doesn't actually have to be me, but wrap up a thing for them to take.
I think it's got to be you, so that we can get a beat on it. Can you communicate to the rest of you when part of you is not with the rest of you?
You know, this isn't rules as written. That's why I was
I'm gonna say yes then.
I would say that we might have to like pay for we could pay for a comm. I could like just put the I am using one of my bodies, but I am also putting a comm in there, and then we just track that comm.
Eating a walkie-talkie?
Hmm?
Eating a walkie-talkie?
Yeah, walkie-talkie would be an example, yeah.
You just eat it, right? Like you ate the other walkie-talkie.
I did not eat it.
Okay, you said you ate it.
Engulf it.
I just said
Take
that it was a
its
nice
totality.
piece of technology.
You
A
said
tasty
it
piece of
good.
Tasty piece of technology.
You
That's what the young people are saying these days.
You gotta eat something to taste it. That's probably a phrase.
Mm.
So
Very
you're
rigid.
I'm not sure. Yeah, the rules is written. I don't know, like, if you could get that. So, but your plan is like basically that your dog is going to put one of their bodies in the box, and then sort
With
of
a
communicate
comm.
with a comm to communicate with the rest of the bodies.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
It's a great plan.
And then we just track it.
Just track it. All right.
Yeah. And if lose the signal, then I still will get there, and I just have to escape.
All right. So are you gonna try to sneak this body in right now, while the guy's still talking?
I guess I could do it again.
Also, do you have something to mark the box?
That's the
for
problem.
this dead drop?
Yeah, like a piece of chalk, like a.
We should probably
stylus.
try to get the same
pack.
colors.
I got a little gunch.
Gunch blue or pink?
Oh. you mark something with gunch, people are gonna smell that gunch and they are gonna take that gunch and they're gonna eat that gunch.
Well, you just drag the gunch on it.
Well, the thing is, I'm wondering if the color actually is an important part of the message.
What color was the image inside the box?
It was pink on the inside, so I wonder if we need the blue.
Mm.
This is blue raspberry gunch.
All right.
Yeah, I take out a piece of gunch and I'm like, wait, what do I mark? What am I writing?
Yeah, but the guy's still on top of the box, by the way.
He's not gonna mind.
What?
He's not gonna mind.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So you're gonna go over. Are you going over to mark the box with the blue raspberry gunch?
Yeah, I'm gonna use the power of steel to do that. Because
Ooh.
it does technically allow you to steal a like glance-atable phrase or password, etc. Like it lets you do things that are clandestine to someone, right? Like I could steal someone's gun. I could steal something on a person. I could look over someone's shoulder, and theoretically, I could go under a person's shoulder and make a little mark on a box. If you will allow.
So kind of what you're doing is I'm thinking more like Fallout rules, like where you could pickpocket and not just take something out, but put something in.
Just see what's in there, yeah.
And
like a little bit of a bait
and
and switch.
You're basically. I don't think this is the rules as written, but I think it's creative enough that if you give me how you're going to do this, maybe if you can put us in the theater of how Gey van Poope is going to do the sneak over and
Gey Poope.
Gey Poope. How Gey Poope is going
Everything
to
else,
sneak
there's
over
Gey
and do
Poope.
this. Yes. How Gey Poope is going to do it.
Gey Poope is holding this piece of blue raspberry gunch. I think
first I sneak in, I assume. Like I sneak back in.
Yeah, I think Gey Poope is basically just like walking right behind like the trench coated dog, and then like as one of you comes out, Gey Poope like army crawls along the ground, and as you're wriggling through this hole, like marks the little mark on the outside of the box with this gunch, and then like does like a backwards shoulder roll away.
So steel
like a cool spy dive move.
But like in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Like laying prone and then going
one of those, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like does
like
a sort
core
of
control to just like from prone to just stand immediate, like because it's hard to do that without like looking weird.
I'm gonna let the steel happen. But I'm gonna
here.
make you roll a success. You have to get a 5 or better move check to make this work.
That's how steel works. Steel, you have to you have to beat 5 with a D move plus your level. So that's D10 plus 3 for me.
Okay.
Which is a 9.
Okay, yeah, you very easily make the mark on the box. I was gonna make you do a move check to do this stand from prone to standing up move without hurting yourself.
And now we don't have to talk to your wacky character. Congratulations.
I'm gonna say
to do that.
I think with a 4 you don't quite pull off the stand up move, and you
the 4 was for how many grit?
For how many grit?
You burned D8 grit for that.
Okay.
That took 4 grit worth of my my effort to do in a cool way.
So you managed. We'll make you roll for that because that 4 grit is most. I'm guessing you expended most of the 4 grit doing the stand up, right?
Yeah. Oh, all of it.
All of it. That was all the stand up move.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got this mark in blue outside.
Oh, my back. I guess that doesn't hurt anymore, but I feel like there's sort of a psychic pain.
Right. So you've got the blue. You got the blue mark for the dead drop, and then and you said dog snuck another body inside, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you roll one more move sneak check just to see
if we have to talk to this guy. Yeah, I gotcha.
if this guy knows has figured out what's going on. If you have to beat a 5.
All right, this time I roll a 2.
So as you're
usually 3.
So you got the 3, and there's probably a little bit of like scraping and scratching, and the Greuge says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! What are you doing in my box? This is a Greuge box. only people with the Greyouge can be on, in, or near this box. Are any of you Greyouge?
I'm
No
Guy.
answer.
Guy's not Greyouge. Are any of you Greyouge?
I think Angero's gonna walk over and start trying to charm him. He's like, "Listen, listen. I think you've gotten the wrong idea about all of us here. You know, we're all friends here. We're all on the same team." And he gives him like a wink.
The trench coat figure is walking away as if I don't know these people.
Just don't know these people.
I'm not
Right.
even in the box. I don't know really what you're talking about.
So, Andrew, so you're doing a sort of charm check. Could I have you just roll charm, and they'll
For sure.
person will roll will to resist. They got a 5. You got a 5.
Let's see. So that would be yada yada yada. I have 12 charms. So let's see.
You're a detective.
9.
9. All right. So, this person's like, "Oh, sorry, comrade. It's just, sometimes like a lot of stuff has been changing. This, yellow tint shaver is really kind of just, I mean, I don't want to say it too loud here." And he sort of looks around and is like, but we really think he's betraying the revolution. Right? We just do not like this. And I feel like I got to do my part and tell people, right?
You, my friend, are doing your civic duty.
I think it's the comradely thing to do. That I don't think I have not introduced myself. I apologize, comrade. My name is Aurora Greth, and I've been, I try to come here. I try to come here early to get to the box, so that way I can make sure our political education continues, no matter what all these neoliberal shills really try to do to us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to have the
Hang
box
on.
is a key part of your civic equation.
100 million years in the future, is it still neoliberal? Seems
Well,
like-
it's actually pronounced Hobbit, but it's translated it's different.
All right.
It's they oh, sorry, I did not pronounce my name just to make sure. Aurora Gareth.
Aurora Garetha. Well, I am Angero Hall, man about town, and it is an absolute pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Listen, comrade. Have you heard about what the Greyouge is into? Like what the Greyouge stands for, comrade?
It's an acronym that I myself am unfamiliar with, but I'm always adding new information to my storehouse, my internal map of this great city, if you will. So I color me curious.
So we in the Greyouge here, we believe that or some people pronounce it Grouget, but we're
Gouget.
always looking at the pronunciation here. I'm an old school. I like Greyouge, but I should use the correct new pronunciation of Grouget. I
just a-
apologize for
Gouget all day.
my incorrect pronunciation comment. Grouget, right? Grouget.
Imagining a bottle of iridescent liquor that just says Bruges or something
Gouget.
like Alizé, but like
Only
just-
when it comes from Qadida, otherwise it's sparkling iridescence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that, one of the things that we really want to deal with here is that we want to always work for those who are not able to safely perform industrial work. We use the gear to recognize that we all must work together as comrades, all types of people, right? And even those who cannot work still are part of the system, right? They still are all comrades with us. And frankly, we are worried that dealing with those capitalists, because what those capitalists do is they don't help the elderly. They don't help the people with disabilities. They put the children in labor, and we can't have that here in free Qadida. That's what we need to stop.
Actually,
What you're saying, it's really resonating with me.
Right?
um,
Go ahead, Jeff.
I think Doug is gonna turn around actually, like go over to like pass by, and just kind of like drop a pamphlet, like an HCO pamphlet, written in Derv.
Ninja.
Yeah,
And-
next to the Aurora.
Aurora picks up the pamphlet and says, "Oh,
Is he
Well,
not going
keeps
to roll to
walking.
slip on it like a banana peel?
I would hope.
you know what? He's gonna roll the slip on it like a banana peel."
Why would
Oh
he
my
slip
God.
on it? Why would he step on it?
Oh.
There's no wind.
Fine, fine, fine. I'm not allowed to have fun. Someone
You
has
can
to.
have all the fun you want.
We
Okay,
can't make
fine.
it this comical, but so Aurora picks up the pamphlet and sort of reads it over. It's like, oh, the honorable company. You know what? They're good comrades. I don't see eye to eye with them on everything. I think they're, as much as I hate those capitalists and the worshipful company, I think I have comradely disagreements with them, to be honest, but we are still comrades with them.
I think the subtitle is like join the Honorable Co-Liberation Front. Material and spiritual salvation can be explosive. With a smiley face. That's like one of the first pages.
Honorable Co-Liberation Front. Well, we appreciate what the Honorable Co-Liberation Front has done for us here in Free Qadida, but we in the Gouldini, we want to represent those people who just their work in liberating is sometimes maybe they did their work in liberation and they were injured. They were just not part of. They just have become elderly and retired. And we often recognize that the Honorable Co. always takes care of those who maybe struggle to take care of themselves, because no one takes care of themselves. After all, we take care of each other. The gears interlock, the teeth all work together.
That's like on the next page, by the way, of the pamphlet.
That
the teeth work
Gears
together.
all interlock.
Teeth work together. Whoa, they're I did not realize they were so up on this. So listen, if you want to, I know that I'm important to the idea of political education, but really you should talk to our leader here, right? We don't really have like a hierarchical structure in the Gouldini, but we really want to make sure that sometimes we do need some sort of facilitation, organization. It's hard, it's complicated, but if you want to talk inside the building, is somebody that could really get them get you some more info. Really good guy. His name's Aramunis.
Aramunis?
Aramunis. Yeah.
Oh,
real...
fuck, now Ben knows who this is, too. Oh, right.
You keep your bed mouth shut.
There's a...
I didn't kill this guy in another game.
There are some slight differences to this guy, but not very many.
I blowed him up with my mind as a different character. I was
You mean metaphorically, don't you?
I was a horse head on a robot body.
Yeah,
Noticing a pattern
we have
here.
fun here. It seems like he's ideologically pretty different, but if you're saying he's not, that's a real spoiler, I guess. Anyway, you don't have to talk about that now. Playtest, baby.
Playtest. So, I mean, we look. Aramunis, like he's got his fingers in a lot of pies, but that's why he's really important to us in the Gouldini. And that, like, part of it is that we want to make sure all the teeth work together. And sometimes if you've got like one of those gears like Aramunis that's touching a lot of different gears, the gears that we can't touch, that's really how organizing works. It doesn't work by fighting; it works by working together. But sometimes we do got to fight against those. And he points towards worshipful Qadida, like them.
You know, the words that you have been speaking, they've given me a lot of food for thought here.
A real third position, if you think.
Yeah,
about
a real third way, if you will.
Well, that's not where I was going, but yeah, okay. That too.
So I think at this point he's, taking him. He's glad handing him a little bit. He's agreeing with what he's saying. He's clapping me on the back and says, "Well, thank you for this information. And if you don't mind, sir, as part of my information gathering, if you don't mind me using you as a contact in the future for reference purposes, I think we might wind up having some really mutually beneficial, arrangements. And mutually beneficial is what it's all about. Am I right?
That we always want to have those mutually beneficial arrangements, comrade. That I'm always interested in discussing theory, the best way to live, and trying to work together with my comrades, like you and I and all of us are. And he starts to point there, even the little comrade over there.
Oh, I guess I'm 3 feet now tall. But yeah, I guess
Oh,
I'm little.
Aurora was pointing to Guy.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying I'm
Yeah,
also
I'm just
little.
a
I'm
little
only
guy.
slightly taller.
That's right.
Just a little guy.
Yep, I am a child.
That's where the Gouldini works for. The Gouldini works with you, comrade, not for you, with you.
I thought you didn't
So-
employ children.
We don't employ children.
Yeah, but
We struggle mutually together.
okay.
I mean,
Alright.
technically, I'm not employed. Prison labor is not employment. No, don't worry about that. That was a little joke that my friends understand.
Yeah, just a little. We're just joking around. Just joking around with this little guy. What a little guy. Jokes.
That's
Yeah.
that's part of why we want to make sure the children are safe, so that children can have joking time, and we adults can do the important political work. But speaking of the important political work, listen, I know our Eunice gets here and the Collective Agora really early in the morning. If you want, I can set up a meeting with them.
Angero sort of like it's like just wait one tick, turns around to the group like, well, what do we think about that?
Yeah, okay.
Aces. He turns
Says
back
nothing.
around to him.
I'll happily meet a guy from my own political education. That's important for children.
Who you are.
Yes, it's important for children. So he sort of hops off of his box, and he turns the box sort of turns the box, he sort of rotates it basically like 90 degrees, just so that way like it's clear that the box is not occupied, as the signal that the box is not in use.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And so he starts sort of escorting you into the sort of larger government building, and he's kind of like
Still leaving one of my bodies there, by the way.
All right, so you're still leaving one of your bodies just kind of hanging out. All right, and so as he's sort of hustling you along, he goes to the sort of this big, large Parliament building. There's not a lot of security out right now, but there is, like, you see that there are quite a few fairly well-armed sort of party personnel there, checking papers, checking IDs, checking documents. And Aurora comes up and says, sort of salutes to the little to the officers, and the officers just take a look at Aurora's papers, just whatever. They're like, Aurora, fine, go, whatever, get in there, not dealing with it. And Aurora sort of goes past the guards and says, "Hey, yeah, just come on in, show me your papers, and we'll just get this over with real quick."
Yeah, all right, okay, they said me first. All right, yep, children first. And I hand my sheaf of papers to this guard and say, don't worry about it. It's very normal. It's very chill.
I'm gonna have this guard roll for we'll say how much they seem to care. So the guard looks at this sheaf of papers and just decides TLDR and is like, "All right, this one's fine," and lets you through.
That's the kind of bureaucratic interface I can get behind.
And then looks at the dog and Angero and is like, "All right," and the guard says, "Papers, please."
I place them.
All right, and we'll roll for this guard's.
Yeah, I
This
rolled
guard,
F3, by the way. I guess you're.
Okay. You have document level 3. They don't care. They look it over. They they scrutinize it. They're kind of rubbing on it to see if it's real, and they're like,
The ink comes off like a yeah.
no, the documents are pretty good, and they're like, listen, you got to make sure that you get. We'll let you in because you know Aurora, but you got to make sure to get your health documents, right? I know that it's something that's different when you're informatic, but you gotta like make sure all these documents up to date. Here's your papers, cause no trouble.
Where do I find a doctor?
Doctors, well, you can always find doctors. They are in every district, but the Warren district is the best one. We do have the Bureau of Medical Information upstairs, if you like.
Well, I meant the informatics specific doctor.
The Bureau of Health Information is covers both for informatics and biological beings.
Pretty sweet deal.
Thank you. And then goes to Angero and says, all right, papers, please.
Angero pulls his papers out and hands them over.
Right. And we will roll to... And your documents were level 2, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you lucked out. Guard rolled a 1.
Yeah.
And I was like...
This seems to be a sheet of paper.
This is... the guard is like... The guard is very much in the, all right, I've done an ocular assessment of all these papers, and just hands back your obviously fake papers. It says,
the last two
Right.
were super real. Why couldn't this one be real?
Yeah. Angelo flashes a winning smile and is like, what you're doing here is really important. Thanks. We very much appreciate your time.
And they says, thank you. All comrades are welcome inside the party building. Cause no trouble.
Never do, never would.
All right. And so you get hustled past, and you see that like Aurora is like going through the building, kind of in a hurry, like very excited because Aurora's doing something useful for a change. Goes sort of down the hallways. You see offices mostly unoccupied, and you get to the office of RM Eunice. Aurora just bursts inside the office of RM Eunice. They talk a little bit behind, comes back out and says, listen, I gotta go. I gotta make sure I get back to my box because I don't want someone else from the Gruget taking my box. They just don't have the dedication that I do. But you could go in. I told them that I got some comrades here that are interested in learning more about our sort of policies and our opposition to dual easing. And we would really appreciate it if that we're always looking for comrades and good political education. So I got to go, but Arm's waiting for you if you want to chat.
I turn to the rest of the people. I'm like, there's no way he's the guy who signed the inside of the box. That wouldn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm starting to think that he was just on a box.
No, I meant the AW is RM Eunice. There's no way that's the same guy, right? Why would he sign the inside? Seems like.
Well, he opened it up and wrote a message in there, right?
But why would you sign it yourself when you're the big guy? You would have other people doing it.
Yeah, you still need a call sign though.
Yeah,
Why would
but
you
what
use
if
your
you're a
name as
stupid
a
fucking
call sign?
idiot?
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Maybe
probably.
This guy's an idiot.
I mean, yeah, he turns to him. He's like, "Hey, it's like turns to this obvious child and several rabbits in a coat, and the other duels that are on his person acknowledges like, I mean, we just got in the building, so that's where they're at security wise.
I'm a professional.
I mean, we do work for the government.
I've been to many
To be
places.
fair.
I've been in many theaters.
Many
Been to many
theaters.
theaters.
You took an interesting pause before you said theaters.
Yes. I'm referring to theaters of war.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I wish I had like a vocoder so I could do a little like filter, but whatever.
Oh, like a little sound wavy.
Yeah.
Get a harmonica or get a comb and a piece of wax paper. Do it, Scooby-Doo style.
Or learn to talk with circular breathing.
Do we have to like walk upstairs or something? Like, what's the lead up to this? How important does
Well,
this?
do we want to meet with this guy, or do we want to scope the building out?
The building's not. I feel like the building's not actually important because it's like nothing's happening here other than
Well,
the.
Yeah,
here's
that's,
the question.
let's-
How many seconds is it going to take to meet this guy? Because I have a power that takes, at my level, 30 seconds.
Oh, the
Well,
reconnoiter
we're definitely
Yeah.
gonna. I mean, if he's amenable to meeting us, I assume that even I can make a.
You want to wait
Angero
outside,
sort
maybe?
of like stands up straight. It's like I can make an introduction last twice that long.
I just need 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right, so you're splitting the party. Like, Guy is going to use reconnoiter, and then Angero. Is it Angero?
Angero, yeah.
Angero, and Angero is going to go in and talk with Aramunis.
Mhm.
All right.
And my main body is gonna be with So we have 4. One is on. Oh, now I realize.
That's cool. We've got an A, B, and a C plot.
Yeah, one's in the box. One's on Guy. One's on Angero. And then 2 are in the trench coat right now. Right.
You've got the 5 body problem.
Yeah, I just want to
One
make
of
sure
those
I'm keeping
classic
track.
chestnuts.
All right. So maybe to resolve this, we'll Guy is resolving this through a power, through reconnoiter, right?
Yeah, basically what I'll get is the layout of the structure and who is there and how they're armed. Is essentially what I get.
Okay. And do you have to roll any checks for that?
Nope, I just burn 4 grit and spend X rounds, where X is equal to your level or lower. And by spending 3 rounds, i.e. 30 seconds, we get plus X on sneak checks ongoing for 4X rounds.
Okay, so you have to
In
roll
addition to
some.
that information.
You have to roll some sneak checks, is what you're saying.
No, if we want to roll sneak checks in the future, we
Okay.
get plus 3.
All right.
Mhm.
So I guess as you're reconnoitering, are you trying to not be observed, or are you trying to just you're just allowed to walk around?
I'm walking the hall as a person like looking for the bathroom, right? Like, but what I'm actually doing is I'm casing the joint.
Okay. So we'll just resolve this quickly. So it's probably going, given the length of the conversation, you'll definitely have the time to do it, and you'll be able to do that. So what information are you looking for?
I sort of do want to get like who is here, what like are they armed, and like what's the layout of this building?
What you would notice is that the layout of the building essentially is that there's sort of a long, like as you walk through, there's kind of a long hallway, and it kind of does branch off, almost like a sort of shape of, sort of like the shape of like arrow feathers. And there's offices on each side, and this long hallway does go toward a central corridor. Most of the offices along the long hallway, like you have some people who like have, some basic security people that have probably like pistols, things, clubs, things like that, but nothing too fancy or too high tech. But as you go toward the central chamber, you recognize that this is probably a place where more important people are meeting, that the sort of central committee, like the committee would meet there. And you notice that there's a lot more folks with body armor, some probably what we would describe as like some some not quite heavy weaponry, but like some serious rifles. There's an assault shotgun. There's people there. Like this is a pretty hard target. You notice that there are some various scanners, metal detectors, biochemical detectors. Like this is the hard target in the building. Like this is sort of the most fortified spot in the building.
Yeah, and where is Aramunis's office that we're going to? Is that in that fortified area, or is it in the more chill area?
You are outside. You are well outside of that well fortified area. Aramunis's
Cool.
space is not. It is in the chill area.
Neat. I mean, I think as I am getting back, I'm just like, this guy's not that important.
Hmm. So, do we wanna? I mean, do we wanna further infiltrate this compound, using a meeting with this individual as an excuse?
I think infighting is unnecessary. We could just ask him where he got the information from.
Alrighty.
Do we want to play our hand like that fast?
I am not. My bombs are subtle, but they are direct, and that is how I do things. If you have a different approach, feel
Okay,
free.
I just want to bring up as part of my approach that there are people with assault rifles like 100 feet that way, so if they hear a bomb, we are fucked.
No, I just meant it was a metaphor. Like I am like my bombs. That's what I meant.
Oh,
and that I am
a
subtle but
metaphorical
direct.
Okay, got
bomb.
it.
No, but I also like make actual bombs, and they're subtle but direct in that they directly do. You know what I mean now? Like I would just ask him.
Yes, there's no arson happening here. We probably shouldn't yell bomb in his hallway.
I'm not yelling.
No, but I'm not going to yell it either.
I'm glad. If I could feel emotions like that.
So your plan is to talk to Arm Eunice, or
That would just be my plan. But if you guys have a different
Yeah,
plan,
let's do it
it's
then.
just- but like I don't have like any good idea of like how to approach him because it's like he's gonna ask, how do you get that information? Why do you know that information? How do you know I was a
It feels
mole?
like we're going to subtly drop things like this and maybe freak him out. That's the sense I'm getting.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to y'all.
Sort of gauge his reaction.
That's what I was getting from what you were saying. Yeah.
That was the general thought.
Alright. Okay.
But I'm open to other suggestions.
Well, we could put on a play where there's a mole
Nope.
who leaks information through a box, and then we can go look at his reaction, and if his
The lights, the box.
Yeah.
You're putting on the betrayer in the box.
yeah.
Yeah. That classic spin side drama, which has been done for quite some time.
Yes.
I assume, so maybe to move this along, when you're thinking about the overall time, remember that Wuss told you that there was a time limit of like how long before the day is, and so at this point, the time is about YTS minus 1.5. So you've got about one and a half days before YTS is presenting. So
Right.
you would have the time to do the RM Eunice check, but you would have time given where you are to get to Kantara Station, but you would burn the rest of the day to do that.
So really one or to other, it sounds like.
Well,
It seems like
I
we
think
do
it
our
means
Eunice. We arrive at Kantara Station at the beginning of the next day, right?
Okay.
Right.
Up to y'all. But it is one of our things to find out who's the leaker. But I mean, he might just not tell us. Is the unfortunate part, which I would prefer. If you just told us.
I mean, that would be ideal, really.
Yeah. Any of you? Oh no, what do you want? Do you have like a power about like asking people things?
When I have enough information, I do have a marquee power called red strings. And if we start getting loose threads together, I can identify no more than 3 people groups to the GM and ask the GM if and how these people are connected to each other. But it's a kind of a one-off. Well, it's not really a one-off, but it does involve a significant amount of grit and a reason roll. So part of me wonders if we just have like one additional piece of information, then we'll have 2 or 3 names to drop to try and Sherlock this answer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But we can do it with 1 or 2 also. It'll just be less connections.
Mm-hmm. I guess we just should talk to him then. Yeah, I'll walk in the office.
Cool.
I'll just walk in.
Just walk in like you own the place.
Yep. So you're just gonna walk in like you own.
Not like I own it,
Well,
but
Yeah.
I'll knock.
We're gonna walk in like we totally belong there, and it's a great thing that we're doing this. And
Like we literally just called it because someone said, "Oh, these guys are coming to meet you," so we might as well do that part at least.
Yeah.
Drop the pamphlet off, and if we can get him to say anything, we can get him to say anything.
Yep.
Excellent.
That's me knocking on the door.
Right. And
Clump.
Armina says, "Oh, come in, comrades, come in."
Okay.
I tried to do something that was a different voice. And
I totally get it. I do.
It's funny because I believe in that previous playtest we did make fun of him by doing a voice, and that's the voice we did to make fun of him.
versus tragedy that is farcely in reverse.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
But yeah.
And he says, come in, comrades, come in. We've got important things to do. Aurora told me all about you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all good things, I hope.
Yeah, and you see that Arm Eunice's office is definitely one of the not as nice offices. You see that Arm there's still boxes, sort of crates that Arm has recently moved into this office. This is a new space. Come in, comrades. Yes, so you're here for some you're here for some political education.
Oh, absolutely. And looks around and notices exactly what you said, and it's like, oh well, as long as it's a good time, it seems like you're in the process of moving out? Question mark. Moving in.
It's kind of moving in. There's been obviously some shifts and some changes that we were. The Gouldini were never really close to the center of power. We were never really close to the committee, but we're a little further from the committee than we were once before, if you get what I mean. And so when you're not as close to the center, then you got to move to the office outside of the center. And as he's saying this, he sort of is messing with a garment bag, and he's opens the garment bag, and he sort of takes a lint roller, and inside takes the lint off of what is a Free Qadida Information Agency uniform. With a little tag badge on it that says A Eunice.
Oh my god, his badge says anus.
A Eunice. There is a Y in between.
You really fell
Get
into
your
this
head out of
one,
that
huh?
gutter, man.
You really walked into it, to be honest.
I refuse to say I walked into an anus.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Exactly. But so he says, so what I understand you're here for political education, comrades. What matters would you like to would you like to discuss, to debate, to understand?
We heard that there was. Well, I have this pamphlet for you.
Arm takes a look at the pamphlet and says, "Honorable company. Honorable company." And I'm going to have them roll a quick will check here. See, they're going to try their best to keep their composure. And you see as Arm, as he's reading the pamphlet, you see little beads of sweat, little nervousness. He's like, honorable company, good comrades, all of them, and yeah, well, never, all good comrades, just best comrades, really. I mean, not the best comrades because there is no best comrade, but
How can I help you?
yeah.
Yeah,
What?
we're not here to interrogate Nolan. We're we're just
I'm here
the
to
free
help.
exchange of ideas.
I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
child.
You
Yeah.
certainly
Yeah.
are.
Yes, you are.
They're here for education.
Yeah.
You certainly are here, my boy. You certainly are. And he puts down the pamphlet and he's like, he takes out like a handkerchief. One of these, he actually grabs a little bit of the free Qadida Information Agency uniform.
Did you have
sleeve and is
advantage
like,
on this last time? Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay. All
He's
right.
like,
All right.
Yeah, can I, yes, a free exchange of ideas. So, any particular ideas that you're looking to share, to dialogue?
I'm just here to help.
Help who?
You.
Me? I don't understand. I am not in the center, but what help? How can you help me?
I have expertise. I come from outside here, and so I going around, seeing comrades I could help on different stars, and we all orbit many stars, and I switch or I try to visit each one.
Oh, you're from the honorable company.
Me specifically.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, listen. The
And I picked up
Gouldini
this urchin, and I hired this guy to lead me around.
the
Hey.
Gouldini is always willing to welcome and invite our comrades from the honorable company. Yes, always willing to. The honorable company lives up to its name. Honorable.
Right. You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just the stress of the stress of moving. Really.
You want a massage or?
Massage would be lovely, but
Yeah, sure. I go around back him.
How does
attempting
this
to-
mechanically work?
I'm gonna say that. Let's see. I'll put it this way. Why don't we make this work mechanically by Jeff? You roll combat to see how because it comes with a grapple. And
I'm not really trying to grapple him. I'm not trying to fight him.
Well, you're trying to. We'll call. I'm saying like you roll it as a way to see how good this massage is using.
Oh, then it's probably pretty bad because I have the ghost in the shell hands. Like
Yeah, those little creepy little Lego morphic robot hands.
Hey, arms into some particular massage.
Also, I have a
say
D4 combat is the other thing.
Well, let's just see if he can resist.
Got tastes.
He's gonna roll will to resist it because he's not trying to dodge it. He's just trying to see like resist like
give in to the robot Lego morph hands.
Yes. And so
I got two.
you got a 5. So he's like, oh, okay, the massage. I appreciate the comradely gesture.
Do you want me to do something else?
I think it'd just be, I'm really busy with my office here. So if you could just kind of tell me what business we're trying to work, what your needs are. Not business. Business is capitalist. Business is capitalist.
Oh, we're trying to get the lay of the land a little bit more here, and we're always interested in hearing, what other outfits are up to, so we can press the flesh, link up.
Clearly, just do you need bodies? We're body. Like I'm a body, and then this is that guy I hired.
I mean, we always need bodies, right? I mean,
yeah, where do you want me to be?
We and Arm like kind of looks around and he's like, I don't need you to. I need you to be everywhere you can. And Ermina scribbles on writes on a piece of paper. And he's writing. He writes and hands you a note that says, "Walls are bugged."
Oh shit!
I need and then he writes on another piece of paper and says, "I need you close to YTS."
And then I guess I write on a piece of paper. Did you send the first message?
And he reads this. And he says out loud, I do political education. I really think that political education is important for all of our comrades. And then he's writing on a piece of paper. And are you trying any type of like persuasion, combat, like intimidation, I should say? Like,
No, I mean it's not really like were you the I guess like I'm just asking were you the one who I guess what I actually meant to write was we received a message saying so we came to
um,
get more info.
so and so he writes on a piece of paper and it says, what message?
The same. No, I meant like when he said why stay close to YTS, I meant yes, we received that message. We were trying to figure out where, who knew, who told.
And he's saying the same things about, oh yes, well, you know, the
Yes, if you could teach my young ward here, this young urchin I picked off the street, all about the fine work you're doing here.
He's a child. Did you know that?
I was not on the street. I was in prison.
the
It's a little joke between me and my friends.
Arm Eunice is like, prison,
The streets of
child
prison.
prison. We in the Gruget are very against child prison. Very,
It's a little
very
joke
against.
between me and my friends. Do not worry about it.
Very, very against child prison. And then sort of scribbles onto a note any sort of circles, and like he sort of circles something and it just says dead drop question mark.
Yes.
And then he scribbles another little note down, and he's gonna have to try to. He's says, and he stares you in the face as he's saying this, and he says, "It says, not me." And he's doing that. He's trying to convince you that this is
Yes.
true.
I
And
guess
so
I'll
if
do
you
a
wa-
will check.
Mhm.
Press X to doubt.
Yes, we're gonna mechanically do this.
All right. My cold and feeling. I'll spend 3 grit. Why not? I haven't used grit so far, and I have 31. I mean, I have 34.
That's a tremendous amount of grit
Yeah,
for a
I rolled
little
10.
guy.
So Arm Eunice sort of looks into your rabbit face,
Lights.
Oh.
Future LEDs.
right? Rabbit LEDs, and he knows with the note that he did not sell this lie. This was not true, and so he takes back the note, says wasn't me, and he sort of adds in a little caret and then inserts another word and says, wasn't just me.
Who?
And then he, are you writing that or did you say it?
Yeah, I wrote it.
Right.
Yeah, at this point, like with everything being relevant, like the scribbling of papers definitely at this point Angero is starting to try and like keep up some banter with him, being like,
Also,
yeah,
my
like
friend
so
here is
I see
interested in the
you're moving, I
architecture.
can provide some services, like maybe we can find better office space if this is such a hassle, like obviously like we're always interested in mapping out problems and solving it, and just blah 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 blah, like while they're passing notes back and forth like middle school.
Mm-hmm. And so it says,
Yeah, middle school is a thing that I've been to, and I'm going to be honest. They give us some great political education there. I know all about collective farming. I know all about all the little things they teach you about how everything works.
yeah, it says, yes, political education school. Schools are excellent here in Free Qadida, and I think that is a great place for political education. So I think that would be an excellent place for you to continue your political education. I could get you some of the library cards, so that way you can go and you can get your political education the rest of the way. And he starts
I would
digging
actually
through his
love a
desk for
library card if you would get me a library card.
He digs through his desk and he gives you a nice new library card.
Yeah.
Can I get one too? Actually,
Yes, library cards are important for political education. And he hands you a library card. He gets Angero is like, would you like a library card as well,
Into my
sir?
Character sheet.
Comrade.
Sorry, real question. I missed the last. So when we asked who, what was the thing he wrote?
The thing he just wrote on the note was not just me.
No, and then I wrote who. So, but then what was the?
So he hasn't written down on the note. He says, and so he hands back a note that says me, and I can't say who else.
I guess at this point we already have a friggin' answer to this part of the job, so it's fine.
Yeah, we've got something to go on. That's for sure.
So we could just. I feel like we could just switch to the other place. Trying to go. Pace
Oh
the
yeah,
other place.
so at this point now has part of you. How are we waiting for the drop off still, or did you mean the other portion of it?
No, I meant like the job, like our objective. One of our objectives was just to find out who signed the thing, and if it's him and other people, we already got a guy. So it's like.
And now we need to know the others.
We just need to protect the YT yellow tin printer. Yellow tin printer?
Yellow tent printer?
Or is it tin printer or tin printer?
Yellow ink fixer?
Yellow tent shaver.
Shaver, thank you. Shaver. Wow.
Tent.
Yeah.
Like a
shaver or shaper?
Shaver.
Yeah.
Shaver.
Yeah.
Wet names.
Yellow tent
because
shaver.
in Dog's mind, it's like the job isn't really to I was gonna say we're not here to finger people. We're here to for the job, it's whatever.
The job is to protect. Yeah. No,
if
that's
the person is already in the FQIA, then that's their problem, you know?
Yeah.
But we already got the evidence anyway, so it's like that's why I mean it's like, eh.
So I think moving on to section 2 is definitely worth our dwindling time. Yeah.
Jeff, when you're saying dwindling time in game terms or in IRL?
In the stream.
Game terms.
I meant in the stream.
I think it's both. Right? We've done our last thing, and we're going to go to the next place, and then we're at the beginning of the next day, right? I think that's mechanically where we've gotten, as well as the time wise. I think we've done a good job.
That's a good stopping point.
Let me see if we've. Yeah, I got a message from White saying we got to wrap it up soon.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And so we're kind of heading towards that. So maybe what we can do is, if we want, we can sort of smash cut. You leave the office, the Collective Agora. You get to Kintara Station because it's pretty close by.
Okay.
And we can, instead of doing this, maybe with a lot of conversation.
The guy just hangs back as the other two are walking out with their also fresh, shiny library cards, and says aloud, I really do appreciate the library card. Mine was revoked when I went to prison. Again, it's a joke between me and my friends. And as he says this, he's writing on the piece of paper, "Next time, don't use your initials, you dipshit."
And Aram says, I always appreciate comradely advice. I always appreciate it.
As do I, from the library. Anyways.
All right, and so we'll smash cut for the sake of time to Kintara Station, and I had planned something more conversational, but we could do this more, let you make a quick, sort of a quick choice of what you were able to do in terms of fortifying Kintara Station. Does that work for folks?
Oh, I thought the next episode would be Kintara Station, but you're saying this episode has to be Kintara Station.
This is before, so right now you're still before YTS's speech. So what you could do if you wanted to is check out Kintara Station and maybe cut off some potential avenues.
What I meant is does next episode have to be the speech then?
It depends a little bit, in sort of meta terms. It kind of depends on the time progress of the other group.
But you
Mhm.
would like us to get a little bit of Kintara Station before we adjourn.
That would at least give it so if the group say moves a little, like if the group in game terms moves a little faster, or they eat up more, like they eat up both days, then we can be at the same time.
Faster? How could they?
Yeah. So I mean, if we're trying to make a decision
doubt it.
now about that, maybe that's the time to use corkboards, red strings, and push pins, since we have a triangulation of like trying to like I can ask the question of like putting these disparate elements together of what we just talked about, like the need to fortify Kintara Station, and then also who has been responsible for this. Like if I then burn the grit, if I burn 6 grit and then roll my reason, if it's between 6 and 10, then I would have decent circumstantial evidence or connections. And if it's below that, at least there's some sort of wild guess that might facilitate us then figuring out specifically what would help fortify Kintara Station.
You can use that power if that's more interesting to you. I'm trying to make this work. Like, I'm wondering if you're asking, like, if I would be able to, maybe this is a wife question that I could ask off stream. Like, if you get a very high roll, that you'd have something that says, like, would be a effective countermeasure to perhaps the other team's plan.
Right, or at the very least, grok enough information that we as a team can like play off of it and figure something out.
While we first, I don't want to direct it to him. Just reconnoiter
for
it, get the layout, and then I could set a trap, right? Based on what would be the easiest place to get in. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, like
It's one
do
more
another
minute.
infiltration.
If we can find a place that we suspect they're gonna use as the
And then like
inn.
set up a trap there, and say that's what we spend the like the rest of the day doing.
I mean, that works for me.
Yeah.
Wythe is suggesting about how they fortified. I think the plan that I'd had originally, if we'd gone to the station first, and maybe we could sort of see if this works, is that you would have the arguments, and like you'd have to make a choice about what is fortified, and that the fortification things would basically be like you would cover sniper positions, so that way you couldn't do a long distance thing, a rush to the stage sort of thing, where like they can't rush the stage and just do it. Something that would detect like around the lectern or dais, like are there strange people, bombs, that type of thing. Biomechanical, like biochemical scanners outside, so if there's any toxins or poisons. And then maybe something like just general, we'll call it health science surveillance. So if they tried to use a weird power. And the idea here is that the HCO would cover one of those, and the free Qadida information would cover another, but you can't cover all of them.
Right. I mean, my pitch would be either for biological or weird.
I'm gonna say sniper, but we could also keep it a secret, and then you could ask us later, and then so if they're watching right now this episode, they will never know.
So we write it down on a piece of paper, hand it
Yeah.
to Ian, so that the people monitoring us don't. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, that's
I think
fine.
that.
We're
I think
setting
that
up some
works.
secret traps, and we're just like, don't look at the traps.
Secret traps.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
So I'll put this really quick here in the chat of what.
No,
what
they can see that.
No, these are what the options are, but they don't know which one you picked.
Aha.
Yeah.
So we press on your foot and say hello, GM.
Right.
Yeah. And then we turn off the stream. So cut the stream. Or I guess do an outro.
Yeah, so Wythe's suggestion to maybe make this what time is that we could do this on our own. Since we have a separate channel, we could just do this on our, like we could decide what we want to, you could decide what you want to do as a party in your own channel.
Oh,
yeah. Other party, we're setting traps that you don't know about. There.
Yep.
Yes. And so I'll put that in the other channel. The other GMs will see it, but they're not gonna tell.
Yeah, of course. It's important that they know.
Counter.
Well, they're the ones who are going to fire the traps off.
Yeah.
Right. Like basically we're trying to, you have the sort of narrative idea is that you're wanting to shut down some of the avenues, but you can't shut down all of the avenues.
Right. Okay, well, break then, right? Who wants to sing the outro song?
It's a Stillfleet, another Stillfleet venture. Stillfleet Ventures, capitalism is bad.
I'm sorry for anyone listening. Anyway, goodbye.
Make sure to follow Stillfleet at Stillfleet on LinkedIn.
Yeah. There's going to be
LinkedIn
another event.
Specifically,
or
only LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, America's premier dating
Yeah,
site.
nowhere are we on Twitter, Instagram, other social media, just LinkedIn.
And also, the next game is on Sunday. The Worshipful
Yeah, and it's a
Qadida
different
game,
cast.
and it's a different cast. So if you loved us, we will be back.
Too bad.
not
We
too
won't be on that
now.
one.
And if you if you love us but you want some other alternatives, they're coming on Sunday, and our next game is scheduled for the 1st of June.
Yeah.
But not on LinkedIn, according to Wife, because we do not have a LinkedIn.
We will be
yet.
streaming live on LinkedIn on June 1st. We are
The new
abandoning
service.
Twitch
Only
yeah.
LinkedIn.
for LinkedIn's live stream service.
Exactly.
And-
Watch some Stillfleet, meet your date, have a date. That's what LinkedIn is for.